We welcome you back to California Speedway here in the shadows of the San Gabriel Mountains. Beautiful sunset here just about an hour east of Los Angeles. Getting set for NASCAR Busch Series action. The drivers are buckled up and ready to go. Let's go trackside for the words we've all been waiting for, the command.
On behalf of Camping World, we want to welcome you to the Camping World 300. We'd like to introduce our honorary grand marshals, David Keckner and Carl Weathers, star of the upcoming movie on October 19th, Comeback. The Comebacks.
Shall we? Gentlemen, start your engines!
Crank them up. All right, buddy, crank it up. Anytime you know somebody squeezes a fender there on the outside, don't want to squeeze them into the wall. The same thing if I get a fender on somebody's outside, try to work on those spotters up there. But it'll be hard, and we'll have a good race here tonight.
Engines have fired 43 of NASCAR's finest at the duel for 150 laps, 300 miles on the 14-degree banks here at California Speedway. Let's take a look at our starting grid. Denny Hamlin picked up his series-leading 5th pole of the year. He'll be flanked by last week's and last year's winner here, Casey Kane. And while you watch to see where your favorite driver will be starting, let's visit with our in-race reporter, reigning NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion Jimmie Johnson, who's had a pretty special week here visiting with family and friends in his hometown of El Cajon in Southern California.
Jimmie Johnson, Rusty Wallace with ESPN. You got us? Jimmy, I heard you had a pretty nice homecoming this week.
I did. It was awesome. Really, really cool.
Tell us about it a little bit, buddy, about your foundation.
Yeah, it was just an awesome experience to go back home and spend a little time in my old high school. Cobalt donated some tools to the shop classes that are there at my school, and then we had a fundraiser for the Jimmie Johnson Foundation, and I raised a bunch of money to build homes in El Cajon where I grew up through Habitat for Humanity. So just an awesome week. Now I'm in a Busch car. Tomorrow night run the Jimmie Johnson Foundation Cup car. I'm looking forward to having some fun.
All right, Jimmy, with this race starting during the day and ended at night, what do you think your car is going to do?
For the first time, the temperatures dropped a bunch from the Cup practice to the Busch practice, so I think the grip has shown up, as Chad Walters told me before I hopped in the car tonight. But I imagine it would make us tighter. Just don't know. Sometimes you get a little looser here, but the pace is definitely going to pick up. There should be a lot of grip coming in now that the temperature's dropping.
All right, buddy. Have a great race. We'll talk to you later.
Awesome. Thank you.
Let's visit with the man who will be calling the shots tonight for Jimmie Johnson, Chad Walter.
Hey, Chad Walter, Andy Petrie, ESPN. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, Andy. Go ahead.
Hey, Chad, we've been talking about how hot it's been this week, and all your guys have been working on this car in that hot garage and everything. How do you keep these guys hydrated to keep them fresh here?
Yeah, it's been really hot. I think it's the hottest weather we've been around all year, Andy. Answer your question, you just got to force those guys to remember to drink. They always work hard. All these guys on this pit road work hard every day for all these race teams. The Lowe's guys have been keeping hydrated. We're ready to go win a race tonight with Jimmy in that Cobalt Cool Chevy.
10-4, Chad. The good news is the sun's going down, so good luck.
Chad Walter, a former All-Conference and All-American college football player, trying to win in a different kind of arena here in NASCAR racing tonight. Our coverage of NASCAR Busch Series racing action at California Speedway being brought to you by Chevy, the winningest name in racing, an American revolution. By Aaron's, with over 1,400 stores nationwide, everyone is a lucky dog at Aaron's. And by Castrol Syntec. For maximum power, great cars want more than just oil. Give them Castrol Syntec. We welcome you back to the Camping World 300 presented by RVs.com. Well, it is hot, hot, hot here in Southern California. The late summer sizzle in full swing at California Speedway. NASCAR has given each team an extra man over the wall to service the driver only. There will be 8 people go over the wall because of that right there. The 97-degree temperatures, track over 101. Fortunately, we have clear skies and just a bit of a wind out of the east at 5 to 10 miles per hour. What should we be watching for here tonight? Who better to tell you than our great folks down in the pits? First, here's Mike Massaro.
Well, Doc, of all the movie sets and sound stages here in Southern California, the California Speedway has undeniably the largest spotlight, the sun itself. And as the sun sets, these drivers will be driving into a blinding light in turn number 3. But after it sets, there's another obstacle, changing track conditions. Teams expect track temperatures to dip by as many as 20 degrees, making it much tighter and forcing them to adapt. If they do not adjust to these fluctuating temperatures, all their chances of victory could just melt away. Let's go to Shannon Spake.
Well, Mike, there certainly is a star-studded cast of Cup regulars in tonight's Busch race, 20 in all, and that list includes 4 former winners here at California Speedway. Now, one of those drivers, Casey Kane, is on quite a roll right now. After struggling in both the Cup and the Busch Series most of the season, Kane and Evernham Motorsports have a newfound energy on the racetrack, including a new business partner in George Gillette. Now, Casey Kane won last week in Bristol, and he's looking to ride that momentum all the way to victory lane tonight. He starts second. Jamie Little.
Well, Shannon, when you think of NASCAR, you think North Carolina and the South. Well, tonight there's a handful of drivers in the field who actually are from California. Included in those, Jimmy Johnson, most notable. He's a NASCAR Nextel Cup champion. He's so excited to be back here on his old stomping grounds, what he calls his local track of California, that he's making a rare appearance, just his second in the Busch Series this year. Some other drivers to watch for, Kevin Harvick, Robbie Gordon, and Jason Leffler. Guys, they're looking to make their hometown and home family and friends proud. Let's go to Dave Burns.
Well, Jamie, who likes it this hot? Well, maybe the Scorpions running around amongst the rocks outside this racetrack, but these crews certainly not as hot as it's been all day today. They've been working in triple-digit temperatures, and sometimes when you do that, your brain gets a little fried and you lose that focus thing. Yeah, that's what it is. And these crews must focus tonight because in the Busch Series, you only get a couple of opportunities to work on the race car and pit your car. They will have to listen to what their driver says, listen to what their crew chief says, and do their jobs well because one pit stop can make all the difference in these races. Just ask Matt Kenseth earlier this year and ask some other guys who have had trouble on pit road and lost races, Doc. It can make all the difference.
Dave, it's all about finding ways to tolerate the heat here tonight. Although the temperatures are supposed to drop, as you heard, it has been oppressive here today. Over 104, 105 degrees. 20 drivers in this field will be doing double duty today and in the Nextel Cup race here on Sunday, including the front row, Denny Hamlin and Casey Kane. There are 4 former winners in the field. Kenseth, Biffle, Casey Kane, and Carl Edwards have all won here in NASCAR Busch competition. By the way, happy birthday to Marcus Ambrose, celebrating his 31st birthday here today. We will have onboard cameras from 8 different drivers today riding along during this event. David Reagan starts 10th in the American Tire Ford. Mike Wallace, the 19th in the Geico Chevy. Casey Kane, 2nd, the Vitamin Water Dodge. Clint Boyer back in 7th in the 21 car, the Camping World Chevrolet. David Gillen, 20th at FreeCreditReport.com Ford. Jamie McMurray, 22nd, the Dish Network Ford. We already heard from Jimmy Johnson, who starts 8th in the Chevy Cobalt machine. And, of course, David Rudiman starts back in 13th in the Aaron's Dream Machine Toyota. 2 cars were asked to go to the rear of the field. 42 car of A.J. Allmendinger and the 77 of Scott Wimmer after qualifying. They will start back of the pack. 300 miles, 150 laps, pit road speed 55 miles an hour. There's the window, 48 to 52 laps. A lot of drivers believe they'll make at least 3 stops here tonight. $1.6 million up for grabs. Great night for racing here in Southern California. Pace car pulls away, and Denny Hamlin will lead him down with Casey Kane right beside him, 43 strong, as we head to the green flag at California Speedway. Way up across the racetrack, right away, Denny Hamlin makes the move to the high side.
And right away in the back of the pack, Stephen Light has a problem getting going on the bottom of the track. Might have missed a gear, blew an engine or something, but guys, this is the first time they're going to get around this racetrack at night under night conditions.
It did not go into third on that start.
Now that could cause him a problem later. That thing not going in gear, it could over rev the engine on the start.
Oh, you know he overdrove the motor, Andy. To stick that thing in third gear and didn't get going hard on the motor. But right now, first time these drivers have been on the track again at nighttime. All the practice has been during the day.
Almost 3 wide a moment ago in the corner for second spot. Now they go back single file, Andy. And here's Biffle looking for a move in behind the 12 car Brian Newman.
Now you see these guys just kind of line up on the straightaway for that draft. They're trying to use that air just to get down the straightaway. But Denny Hamlin, man, he got out big time on these guys.
You see the guys working the top side of the track already. There's a lot of grip on the top side of the track, way high up there. The 88 car, Brad Keselowski on that last run. But there's a lot of grip up there. They need to get up there and use this racetrack because it's so slick right now. Until this gets a little darker, a little cooler, these cars are going to change a lot.
You see some sparks flying out of the 5 car there going in the corner. Cars are on low air pressure, so they travel just a little bit more. Until they build these tires up, they'll actually bang the racetrack a little bit with the frame of the car.
Very wide racetrack. They were 4 wide. They were 3 wide. Lots of room to race here, Rusty.
There's a lot of room to race, and they're going to use up all they can here in turn 1. They can get really wide, and especially off of turn 4. These guys have got the optimum grip when these tires are fresh and new, so when they're like that, they're going for it, getting everything they can.
Problems off of turn 2. Car sideways. The 14 car of Kyle Krisiloff gets down right in front of traffic. One of the impressive rookies in this year's crop, Krisiloff, who had that great top 5 finish at Talladega early in the year, and he has had some contact with the wall.
He's got some real damage there on the right front. He's got that right front wheel aimed the wrong way. So he's hit the wall pretty hard with that end of the car.
You hit left rear, left side, Brian.
These guys have to go behind the wall and work on this car.
And that's the toughest thing in the world to take to early in the race. The first couple laps, you're already in the wall. Guys have been out here braving this heat all week long, and only 3 laps in the race, you're in the wall already. And that's a hard hit, guys. Right rear quarter panel, right front. He's not going to be able to fix that and get that out soon. Let's take a look at this replay, guys, and see what happened.
He's already sideways and just got trying to chase the car up and got out and ran out of room, got in the wall.
And again, thank God for that soft wall, guys. That really takes a lot of the impact away from the driver when they can hit that part of the wall.
This was lap 2 over in turn 2. You saw Bobby East coming by. Now here's the start of the race. Now you'll see the pole center, Denny Hamlin, just turned hard right up in front of Casey Kane. Now watch from the onboard camera of the 7 car of Mike Wallace, and the 90 car, remember, couldn't get it in gear.
Now at this point, Stephen Light's in second gear, trying to get it in third, can't get going. Mike Wallace does a good job really not running over him and not tearing the front up of Mike's car. He could have really hurt his own car on that one.
Under caution for the first time tonight at California Speedway, lap 2, turn 2, the 14 car of Kyle Krisiloff in the wall. This ESPN telecast of the NASCAR Busch Series is available in high definition on ESPN2 HD, presented by Vizio.
California Speedway is nice. It's very smooth and multi-grooved, so you can race from top to bottom.
It's a very wide, outspread racetrack. You go down the straightaways 203 to 208 miles an hour. You head off into a relatively flat corner of turn 1 and 2. It's almost like driving down the freeway and then all of a sudden get off on a sweeping off-ramp.
The racing's just getting better and better every time you go out there.
Early laps here at California Speedway under caution. Lap number 2, turn 2. Kyle Krisiloff's car got out of shape, tagged the wall, it's headed back to the garage area for repairs. Denny Hamlin has led all 5 laps thus far of the 150 from his pole starting position, as we head down to our pit studio with Alan Bestwick and Brad Daugherty. Guys?
All right, Doc, position just inside the pit entrance off of turn 4. We say hello from California Speedway, where we've talked a lot about the temperature, one of a few topics of conversation here today.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really difficult, Alan, because of the heat. You know, the track temperature changes, the air temperature changes, and the race car changes simply because as it cools off, the RPMs come up in this motor. So it's a lot of adjustability that needs to be built into these race cars.
Going to keep an eye on things as we go throughout the night and see which crews keep up best with their adjustments as the track conditions cool. Last 2 race weekends here have been swept by drivers. We'll see if someone gets a start on that tonight as well. Let's check down the pit road. Mike Massaro, what do you got?
Well, the feel-good story in the world of sports today, Alan, I'm sure you know what it is. Appalachia State upsetting Michigan in college football today. Well, take a look at this guy. This is Chris Anderson. He's the jack man for Jimmy Johnson for his cup competition on Sundays and, of course, in the Busch race here tonight. Well, he played football at Appalachia State, and he was gung-ho today, believe me. And he feels like he's bringing some good luck to the team today. He played linebacker at Appalachia State and just graduated a few years ago. He's a pretty happy man, but he's looking to pull off the double and go to victory lane today. Guys?
Mike, Appalachian State, a two-time and defending 1AA national champion, got it done in the Big House up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, upsetting the blue of the Wolverines of Michigan today, 34-32. Jimmy Johnson not hoping for an upset tonight. He's making only his second NASCAR Busch Series start of the year here in his home state at his home racetrack. He's from El Cajon, California, just south of here, down near San Diego. Getting set to come back to the green flag and a single file start here, guys, but they were shuffling it up 2 and 3 wide, even on the original start here a moment ago.
Oh, when they started this race, the track was real slick, but you know, you had the fresh tires, Jerry, so these guys were trying to get all they possibly can in the first corner because track position is very important here. We talked earlier that aerodynamics plays a big effect on the car. It can mess up the downforce, and you really got to use that air to your advantage, so these guys are doing that.
They were searching for that clean air for sure. And this racetrack gets big, they call it. What I call getting big. They get way up against the wall. They use the whole thing all the way from top to bottom. That's what's great about this track.
Denny Hamlin on the pole for the 5th time this year, has led all 6 laps thus far. Kyle Busch in the 5 car right behind him as they come up to the gearbox and head to the green flag. Looking to the outside, and he goes sailing by the 20 of Denny Hamlin.
Kyle Busch has just took the lead past Denny Hamlin on the right-hand side of the track there, and he's got a big lead right now. Got a lot of downforce that's really helped him. Take a look at Stephen Light, really flying on the outside of the racetrack now, guys.
Stephen Light trying to make, I said Casey Kane, I meant Kyle Busch. I'm looking at Casey Kane's car. I'm sorry, Kyle Busch. You are the leader, by the way. You know you're leading. It is Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin and Casey Kane. You watch Stephen Light now, who's a young man who won at Kentucky. Now, we talked about the fact that he had trouble on the original start of the race. You know, he certainly caught fire on this restart.
Well, I tell you what, he got some running on the very bottom of that racetrack in that last restart, and he looked like he was shot out of a cannon. He was really mad about getting stuck back in that field, and now you see him racing with Stephen Wallace, and those two are going to the front right now.
Got a lot of ground to make up after missing that gear on the start.
This is 32nd, 33rd, 34th. You see the 7 car there. That's Mike Wallace, one of our onboard cameras, the Geico Chevy there. That's Stephen Wallace behind him, the young 20-year-old, and Stephen Light. The races of NASCAR's Busch Series future right there in the 90 and the 66 side by side.
Well, both of them are hoping for a good race tonight, Jerry. The track is real slick, and Stephen likes his 2-mile racetrack in California. And we know that Stephen Light is good on these style of tracks. He won that race in Kentucky. He looked so strong there. And I believe this is a type of racetrack that both these youngsters will do well on tonight.
Action all over the racetrack. The 18 car getting ready to make a move, or trying to consider making a move. That is the effort of Kevin Conway.
You take a look at Brian Vickers on the bottom of the racetrack in that Toyota. At Michigan, he had the fastest car there late in the race, had a pit stop problem, and got back up to the front. And this is the same style track, guys.
And it looks just like he did at Michigan. Every time we put the camera on Brian Vickers at Michigan, the car was sideways, it seemed like. We just see the 10 car getting a little bit loose, but it's still going fast.
Oh, yeah, this is probably going to happen when this racetrack cools down, Andy, and the grip comes back because of the track getting cool and these cars handling better. I expect a little bit of that problem that Brian's having is going to go away. But right now, hey, man, you just got to hold on to that baby and drive it. That's what you got to do.
He's still going to the front, so it's not hurting him too much. But we see that 17 car throwing sparks. Just saw him. He's still throwing them. You'd think these tires are built up by now. They may end up having to raise that car up a little bit if it keeps hitting ground.
Yeah, 11 laps in the race. The tire pressure has got to be up where it needs to be. And you see it, you know, sparking out of the 17 car of Matt Kenseth, like you talked about, and yeah, they're going to have to come up with the air pressure, or else they're going to grind the bottom of that car off, and there's not going to be much left, and probably the tailpipes is probably what's suffering right now.
Fourth and fifth, the 12 car of Ryan Newman in fourth. Brian Vickers back in fifth. We talked about his great run at Michigan where he led 19 laps, but he was very loose a moment ago, and the car was extremely loose when he tried to qualify. Let's show you what happened to the 10 car just a moment ago in the corner.
Now working the top side of the track, he just starts stepping out. He holds on to it, gets out of the throttle, gets the wheels biting again, and gets going again. That is a loose race car, guys, and you don't want him that loose to start this race. But again, the track's going to change a lot, and they'll stay adjusting on this next pit stop.
The only way they can combat that big push to get at the end of the run is to have the car really free at the beginning of it. And so that's, well, a guy that can hang on to a loose race car, that's an advantage to a race team, because then you can set the car up for the end of that run and just tell him to hang on to it.
And the longer he runs, Andy, the fuel's going to burn off, the back of the car is going to get lighter, it's going to shift the weight distribution focus to the front, and that's when the car's not going to slide around near as much. When that happens, the driver's going to report to his crew chief, hey, it took too long, we got to tighten this thing up, or hey, it's coming to you, I'm happy with it, don't touch anything.
13 laps in it here, and here comes Jeff Burton. The 29 car has moved all the way up to battle for the second position. Burton there in the 29 car, driving for Richard Childress and Denny Hamlin, who was the pole sitter as they battled. Looked like Burton had a shot at him in the turn, but back down, and now he takes another shot in turn 3.
Burton's car working real good on the bottom. You can see him going completely below that white line. That's a good Hamlin race car.
Well, Burton told us, and right before the race started, he said, I got a really loose car I'm going to start this race with, but I got to have it that way in order to run fast at the end. So he's doing a good job holding on to this loose car. But you know what? I don't think it's as loose as he said it was. He's going awful fast.
Jeff Burton, who led 46 laps here in February, only to have that car fade in the final 30 laps and give the win to Matt Kenseth, now has moved all the way to second spot. But the guy they're chasing, young Kyle Busch, who's at the head of the field here after just 14 laps. Beautiful aerial coverage high above California Speedway, courtesy of our good friends at Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for the past 25 years. Early laps here, lap 19 to be exact, of 150, as Kyle Busch has taken the lead now and has led the last 12 consecutive laps. Jamie?
Well, Doc, Kyle Busch just came over the radio a couple laps ago and said to crew chief Alan Gustafson, he said, yeah, this car may look really good on the track, but I'm unbelievably tight. Now, he just came on the radio again and said, I'm a level 4 tight out of a 5 being the worst. So, Rusty and Andy, I want to know, being this tight this early in the race, how will that factor in as the laps dwindle down and we get closer to the end of this race?
Well, Jamie, I believe what's happened is a lot of guys have overcompensated. They thought the track was really going to be loose, and when this race started, the clouds really came down behind the mountains over here. The track has cooled off a lot, and right now a lot of them are tighter than they want to be. In fact, at the start of the race, you saw some people come down pit road on lap 3 and already making some adjustments, but right now Kyle's got such a good lead, good downforce on the car leading the race like this, and I believe he's just going to have to ride it out.
He's going to be okay. As long as he's out front, I think he'll be okay. He'll have enough, like you said, enough downforce on the nose and clean air that he'll be able to handle that. But if he gets back in traffic with a tight race car, it can make it very tough on him.
Guys, don't look now, but that 10 car of Vickers is faster than the leader, Kyle Busch, that time by almost 0.2 of a second. The Toyota Camry of Vickers that led 19 laps at Michigan, only to fade late and finish 6th, is on the march now toward the lead.
Yeah, Jerry, but he faded halfway through the race there at Michigan because they had a pit stop problem. At the very end, he's doing the same thing back then as he's doing right now. The fastest car on the track by 0.2, and he's coming to the front. It's a matter of time now before he gets around Kyle Busch.
Detroit, Michigan, the home of the big 3, General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler. But here in California is where Toyota's based, and Toyota's engines are built not far away. So how big would this be if they can pull off their first super speedway victory here in the home state?
I know Brian Vickers wants to show off for him here. He's got a fast hot rod right now. He's running the top of the racetrack, the bottom of the racetrack, and he's been catching this leader a couple of tenths a lap. And here he goes. He's going to the outside of Kyle Busch.
Really easy here, man. Clear. Pulling away.
Mike, what's going on down there, buddy?
Well, as As you can tell, Brian Vickers has a very strong race car, and they knew they would based upon what they did in Michigan. They led 19 laps in this race car, and for much of the afternoon were the class of the field until they were plagued by a small problem. Take a look at this right here. This is the probe that goes in the catch can vent. Now, in Michigan, they had a problem. The probe went in the vent, but it did not open the vent valve. The reason? The vent valve was improperly installed. They found that afterwards. As a result, they could not get enough fuel in the race car in Michigan, and that's what cost them the victory there. They went back to the shop. They examined it, but were encouraged after they were so disappointed to find out, believe it or not, even if they had not had that problem, they did not have the fuel to go the distance. So this week, the concentration has been on fuel mileage. In practice yesterday, they went 50 laps and ran the car dry just to find out exactly what they've got in terms of fuel mileage here in California.
Yeah, Mike, I bet you that they may have some problems in the pits, but I'll guarantee you they won't have that problem again. You know they got that one solved.
Yeah, they're not going to have any problem when it comes to problems like little things like that, which turned into a major thing a couple weeks ago for them. But it just amazes me how fast this Toyota's running. Week after week, this team, the Braun Racing team, just has got that car going.
Denny Hamlin's car in his 20s, he's been fading a little bit. We see him running way up high, but he's kind of been going backwards a little. And we got the 48 car, Jimmy Johnson, going the other way. He's going forward.
Well, I believe right now we're lap 24 out of 150, and these guys would probably like to see a caution flag because a lot of the cars, the adjustment you can tell is way off, and some of them are dead on, like the 10-car Brian Vickers. But a caution flag for a lot of these folks, it'd be nice right now to make some adjustments and adjust to these changing track conditions.
You know, one thing I see here, Rusty, is a lot of these guys are running so low on the racetrack, they're using that white line, even the apron. Is that, and what do they do that just to help turn the car if they're too tight, or why are they running so low?
Yeah, a lot of times, Andy, they get down the corner and the cars are just losing the front end, and so they try to take that left front tire and actually de-wedge the car. That means they'll hook the car in that white line and actually pull the car around a little bit. You'll see them manipulate that. You saw the 16 car, Greg Biffle tried a little bit right there, but you can really change a handle on a car by doing that.
Greg Biffle in the 16, the 20 of Denny Hamlin battling for 6th position. You talk about how this track is a sister track to Michigan, but how similar is it from a driver's standpoint?
Jerry, from a driver's standpoint, this track is not even close. People say that's a copy to Michigan. That's so wrong, it's unreal. This is a 2-mile racetrack from the center of turn 3 and 4 all the way to the center of 1 and 2. It's pretty doggone close. But off of turn 2 and down that back straightaway and into turn 3, as a driver, it feels totally different. This racetrack was designed a lot different than Michigan. From the sky, looking down, it might be the same, but boy, it drives different, way different.
And like at any 2-mile track, though, or any super speedway, you got to be able to use the air over the car to make it work, and that's what Draft Tracks helps the people at home be able to see. Andy?
See Jimmy Johnson right here. He was working this 20 car over. But you can see these guys, they're all but bump drafting right here. You can see that air just goes right over these 2 cars. It almost makes it feel like one car, the air, as they go through the air.
And boy, they'll bump draft like that, get some speed. You see he's had to back off right now, move to the top. They get that clean air. Now he's getting more downforce at the top of the racetrack, which really lets him pass a lot easier because he's got the grip back now.
Jimmy Johnson now moving into the top 5, making only his 2nd NASCAR Busch Series start of the year. If you just joined our coverage, Denny Hamlin was the pole sitter, led the first 7 laps. Kyle Busch led the next 15, and now it is Brian Vickers who has led the past 6 laps, and he leads here early on at California. We'll be back here at California Speedway as NASCAR Nextel Cup action continues. Tomorrow, Matt Kenseth has won 2 of the last 3 California Nextel Cup events. Casey Kane won this race last September, and with just 2 races to go before the chase is locked, the big question is, as Aerosmith puts it, can Dale Earnhardt Jr. get back in the battle again? Can he get there to get that 12th spot, the final spot in the coveted race to the chase? Brian Vickers is our leader here, has led the last 10 consecutive laps. The 42 car was one of the stories to begin the day. The debut in the NASCAR Busch Series of A.J. Allmendinger. They had engine troubles on Friday. They had engine troubles Friday afternoon. They changed 2 engines, had to start in the back of the pack, and he is picking them off one at a time.
He's got a good handling car right now. We talked to him before the race started. He was really confident, and you know, he generally drives the Red Bull Toyota, but it's pretty hard to believe that he's in a Dodge right now, actually running for Chip Ganassi. And this was a team that was going to shut down, but found some sponsorship, and AJ wanted some more track time, so they put him in there and said, let's try it. And right now, it looks great.
See him catching Carl Edwards right here in the 60 car. His car looks like it's fading a little bit, and you see that 42 going forward. Seems like Carl Edwards' car, they've just struggled the last 5 or 6 weeks.
42 car of Allmendinger is going to run the next 5 races, by the way, in a way. Going to continue to run for Chip Ganassi. And the word is that they may keep this 42 team open for the remainder of the year. Chip Ganassi doing this young man a favor because he couldn't get any laps. He'd only run 9 Nextel Cup events trying to qualify in the Toyota.
But Jerry, he's having such a tough time trying to get track time, you know, so they put him in Chip's car, and he's got to be pretty thankful he's got that. But take a look at Jeff Burton right now battling with Kyle Busch on the inside, and that's a battle for the 2nd position. And Burton gets it pretty easy. And he goes down to that white line, way underneath of it, hooking that left front.
He's almost got the whole car on the apron there coming off 4.
He is definitely flying on the bottom of the racetrack. And, you know, we saw Michigan a couple weeks ago where each driver was working the bottom, the middle, and the top trying to find what was best for his car. And these guys are still doing it right now.
I got to think that 5 car, Kyle Busch, they're looking for an adjustment here on this first pit stop to get that car freed up a little bit, talking about how tight it was.
Pit stop should be 5 to 6 minutes away. Brian Vickers and company getting ready to make what should be the first of possibly 3 pit stops here in this 150 lapper. We'll take a break and come back and cover pit stops in a moment. Back at California Speedway, NASCAR Busch Series coverage of the Camping World 300 presented by RVs.com. Brian Vickers in the 10 car is the leader. He has led the last 17 laps in a row. We talked a moment ago that the 5 car of Kyle Busch looked to be having some issues after the car went to the front. He had a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, he's loose. He's about a 2 loose. The front end isn't doing anything. Take a huge swing at it because it's only going to get worse. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it.
Well, he's pretty unhappy with his car right now, but he's still running in the 3rd position. A lot of times drivers say, my car is terrible, I can't stand it, it's horrible. And your crew chief will say, hey man, you're running good though. You're running 2nd, you're running 3rd. And that's the case right now with Cal. He's in the 3rd position. Things aren't as bad as he thinks they are at the moment.
For more information on driver communication, log on to ESPN.com, search word communications.
He was talking about taking a big swing at it. What they mean is they need to make a big adjustment. Let's get on the other side of this problem. See if we can't make this thing better.
Denny Hamlin began the night as our pole sitter. He led the first 7 laps. There's a look at the 20 car, the Joe Gibbs on machine. And then he began to fade a little bit. He faded all the way back to 7th place. But then let's look at our Castrol Syntec Power and Performance pass of the race here. Just a moment ago, as the 20 car was back in 7th, he decided to make this move. Looked like moving down a ski slope.
Man, he got a big run on the top side of that track. And when you get that run on the front straightaway here at California, you just got to go for it and take what you can get. And that's what Denny did. Looked like he was shot out of a cannon on that one.
Can you feel that pull, that draft pull on that straightaway when they do? You can see these cars when they do that. It's like a slingshot.
Well, you sure can. Mike?
Kevin Harvick on pit road. Guys going to work on the right side now. A little chassis adjustment as well. A 4-tire change for the 33 car. The jack going underneath the left side. Couple of pumps. It's up in the air. Tires being changed. Grill being cleaned. Drop it off the jack. We're actually having trouble on the left rear tire, getting hung up a little bit. That'll cost Kevin Harvick.
It's like they had trouble getting the left rear tire off the car. See the crew there kind of shaking their heads there, trying to get that wheel off.
Jason Leffler, the 38 car, coming down for his first scheduled stop. Shannon?
That's right, Jason Leffler in that 38 car. His biggest concern coming into the race was the slippery conditions that hot weather was creating. Right now, he is not happy with the car. They are going to make some major adjustments on that 38 car. Take 4 tires and fuel. Over to Dave.
Crew Chief Mike Kelly calling for a big swing on the 6 car. They will take a spring rubber out of the left rear. He's been there a long time. That may be the issue on the left rear there. Take that spring rubber out, make an air pressure adjustment and a chassis adjustment for Reagan. Mike.
Jimmy Johnson complaining the car's a little bit tight, saying, quote, the front end is not doing anything. Looking for some changes here, a 4-tire change and a chassis adjustment as well. Jimmy Johnson still hoping the car will turn a little bit more. As we documented at the beginning of the show, as the temperatures cool down, the track will get tight, and that seems to be what's affecting Jimmy Johnson right now. Meanwhile, Carl Edwards experiencing similar problems. Not happy with his car at all, saying it's very hard to drive, but the problem for him, not tight necessarily, but loose. A 4-tire change for Carl Edwards, an air pressure adjustment as well, as they swing around to the left side, trying to make that car a little bit better. Carl Edwards trying to get off the schneid, has not been on top of his game in quite some time, still looking for a victory. Jamie.
And Casey Kane pulling into his pit box there, running a different color scheme, a purple car. Now Casey started second, but he's been slowly drifting back. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment, take a 1 pound out of that right front, 1 pound out of the left sides, and move that track bar up. So he wants to free it up a little bit, having a little bit tight conditions for Casey Kane, the winner from last week, and he's down and away in 17.2. Mike?
Hard to imagine that Brian Vickers would complain at all about his race car, considering Trent Owens came over the radio not too long ago saying he was pulling away from the field by 0.2 a lap. Yet, Vickers is saying he's still a little bit tight, would like to be freed up. They're making a 4-tire change right now and an air pressure adjustment. Nothing dramatic on the 10 car. Jamie?
And Kyle Busch sliding, stopping his pit box. They're going to do 4 tires. Remember, Kyle Busch, we heard on the radio complaining about a tight race car. He slipped back to 5th. Remember, he started third, looking for his first win here in California, and he's down and away.
Major adjustments as you might expect in this first round of stops. Here is the current leader, Jeff Burton, coming down pit road for his first stop of the night. Headed to you, Mike Massaro.
And Jeff Burton heading down pit road right now. He's saying he needs to turn a little bit better. This is a team trying to make up for a missed opportunity back in the spring when they led 46 laps. Unfortunately for them, they admitted they bolted on an old set of tires on the final stop. Vowing not to make the same mistake here, they bolt on 4 fresh ones as well and are hoping for a much better performance than where they fared in the spring when they finished 7th. Burton's away.
On near contact with Biffle and Burton as he leaves Denny Hamlin, the 20 car right in front of them, as they will pull off Hamlin, Biffle, and Burton in their order. And we are being told by NASCAR that the 5 may have left pit road too quickly as you watch the 41 car of Reed Sorensen. Dave.
And guys, there is Reed Sorensen now in the 41 car, finally coming in for some adjustments he needs. The car would push through the center of the corner, but felt loose in the back end of the car. Crew Chief Brad Parrott deciding an air pressure and track bar adjustment should fix Reed up. Running in the top 10 before these green flag stops started.
Well, I tell you, the guy that really got hurt on that pit stop scenario right there was the 5 car, Kyle Busch. Pit road speeding penalty. He had to come down pit road and just lost everything that he gained, so that was a tough one. Mike Wallace leading right now in the Geico Chevrolet. He's due in for his pit stop shortly. Started 19th, up the first. Good run for Mike.
He pitted in one of those cautions early. I think maybe he had about 5 or 6 extra laps he could run on these guys. We see him now dropping down, coming into pit road.
Did the wise thing, though, guys. You've been able to stay out there and get some points, lead some laps. And that team's starting to turn around a little bit. It was really struggling, but now the car seems to be running a little bit better. Better week for Mike right now. Here comes a 90 of Stephen Light.
55 miles an hour on the pit road. Mike Wallace has led a lap, trying to get his first top 10 of the year. Stephen Light has already won. The youngster won at Kentucky early in the year driving the 90 car. Let's go down to Shannon.
Well, it's an all-star cast here on the 18 pit box. You got 4 guys from the number 20 team and 2 guys from the number 11 team fixing this car for Kevin Conway today. Basically, they're taking a look at this Busch crew, over-the-wall crew. They really wanted to get Kevin a good run here tonight, so they're taking some of the guys off the Cup team and put them down here on pit road. Guys?
Very difficult week for this young man. Kevin Conway lost his dad last Friday night. He was on his way home from Bristol, Tennessee, and his mom said, come by the house. We need to have you here. He spent the last hour with his dad, who passed away after a long battle with lung cancer. Our condolences go out to Kevin and his whole family on their loss of Sam Conway, a longtime board member for Motor Racing Outreach and friend of many of us here in NASCAR racing. Tough week for the young man. He said the best thing that could happen to him, though, was to climb back in his race car and focus on what was going to happen here tonight. The 5 car we mentioned a moment ago, that's Kyle Busch, had a penalty for too fast on the exit of pit road. Kyle, who had led 15 laps early on. Let's show you as this car is exiting the pits. The 12 car is the reference of Ryan Newman.
Must have just sped right through that last segment, because you see how he passed the 12 car on pit road, and they electronically measure that speed, and he must have just got caught speeding just a little bit.
Oh yeah, when you're running side by side, Andy, leaving pit road and you're racing the car out, you just want to give it a little bit more throttle and try to get him. But boy, look at that thing dancing around right now. He's holding on to that 5 car for dear life.
He's trying to make up for the mistake he made on pit road right now, just driving his heart out.
And knowing Kyle like we know him, he's really mad right now, and he's driving hard.
We saw what happened last Friday night when he got mad. He drove from 36 back to finish 4th at Bristol, Tennessee. That got him fired up here at California tonight. They're still chasing Brian Vickers here after 50 of 150 laps.
This is open season.
We welcome you back to the Camping World 300 presented by RVs.com at California Speedway here in Fontana. We're about an hour east of Los Angeles. Glad to have you with us. NASCAR Busch Series action. Brian Vickers in a Toyota has now led a total of 30 laps. He's led twice tonight for a total of 30 laps after starting back in the 9th position. One of the big winners, I guess, in that round of pit stops a moment ago might have been the 12 car. Great effort for the Penske crew and Ryan Newman.
Ryan Newman was a big winner in that round because he came out in 2nd place. Now, Jeff Burton has moved back by him for 2nd, but still he's sitting right there in 3rd spot in his 12 car. See him racing Greg Biffle in 16. These guys have been going at it pretty hard the whole race.
Well, right now the lap times are very close to each other. The 16 at Greg Biffle and Newman are. But those two leaders, Vickers and Burton, are about 4/10 of a second faster than these guys. Now, if you look behind the 16 car Biffle, here comes Jimmy Johnson now. Jimmy's got a good handling car. He's sitting there in the 5th position at his home track here in California, and he would love to win this race. You know, it's the 2nd time he's been in the Busch Series all year long, and he picked a good one in California. That's a track that this particular track he loves a lot. But I don't think he thought it was going to be this hot here, though.
Yeah, he might would have reconsidered that if he'd have known what the temperature was going to be this weekend.
Jimmy Johnson, our in-race reporter. As you take a look at right in front of him is the 12 car of Ryan Newman. Shannon?
Well, that's right. Ryan Newman currently running 3rd. He has never won here at this racetrack, but he does have 4 career wins at Michigan. I asked his crew chief, Matthew Gimbel, how Ryan felt coming into this race, and he told me that Ryan felt great. Told his crew chief, just give me clean air and we can get it done. Something else, I saw Ryan Newman immediately following the Cup practice. He walked out to driver intros. Very hot, as you can imagine. The temperatures were so high down here today. Eating a granola bar, getting in the food while he could before he started this race.
Here's the 21 car making a move, and you would think who might be in this car? Well, tonight it's Clint Boyer in the car. Brad?
I spent some time with Shane Wilson, crew chief, on this car. He was so excited to have Clint in this race car today. I asked him about all the different guys who've been through the car this year, and he was said, yeah, you know, we've had a lot of changes with drivers. They're all top-notch, obviously. But the big thing about tonight's race, Shane said, is get me to 100 laps, and then we'll try to take care of fuel mileage, and then the fastest race car wins. But I'm trying to get to that 100-lap mark so I can out-fox them on fuel mileage going forward.
Well, Brad, another thing, that 100-lap mark, if they get to that point, that pretty well, the temperature here at this racetrack, guys, it pretty well settles in by that mark. The track is what it's going to be around that shape. So he's going to have one more pit stop, put 4 tires on it, because these cars run about 48 to 52 laps on fuel. So if they can pit on that magic time right there, 48 to 52 to go, put tires on it, make the final adjustments, they're going to be in pretty good shape.
Look behind the 21 car. You see the 9 car making a move. That is Casey Kane, who swept both events here last fall. Won the NASCAR Busch Series and the NASCAR Nextel Cup event. It's been about the sweeps here because he won them last fall and Kenseth won them this past spring. So, but the 9 car had a close call just a moment ago with the outside concrete.
Casey's one of the guys that always runs the top lane. Let's take a look at his replay. See how close he got to it. Oh, turn 2. That's a big hit, guys. Really against it. Looks like he's got that right front fender bent in that car. That next pit stop, they'll have to get that out, so he's got good downforce on it. Let's take a look at this again.
He likes running that high line, but I don't think he wants to run quite this high. How about it, Brad?
Yeah, Andy, you know, I talked to Mike Shiplett, Casey's crew chief, and I was talking about being able to adjust your race cars throughout the evening. All the drivers I talked to and crew chiefs today, everyone said we're going to mess with air pressures. We're going to leave a lot of adjustability in our race car. But as I talked to Mike, he said Casey, like the car after the last practice, they're not going to touch it, and they're going to figure it out as the race goes on. Now, I think they've struggled a little bit, but they're starting to move towards the front. They're starting to figure it out. Let's go to Jamie.
Well, Brad, I actually talked to the team after that practice, and they said, you know, Casey obviously, like you said, likes a loose race car, but they went out in that first practice and they scraped the wall with that right rear. So that was an indicator, obviously. The car was too tight. Or too loose, I should say. So they went back and they tightened it up. So now that car is actually coming around and getting a little too loose. But Casey came over the radio and said he got pushed into the wall. So we'll see if that will affect him later on in the race.
He made a little adjustment on that car. He knocked that right front fender in. Maybe that'll tighten it up.
Not the kind of adjustment you want to make as a driver, but whatever works, huh, Rusty?
Whatever he says, too. I didn't see him get pushed into that wall either, but he runs so high. But the good part is when he did hit the wall, it was a lot less than what I really thought it was the first time. So, you know, that one inboard shot we had, Andy, that was a good-looking shot of that car. And he just kind of scraped along that soft wall, so doesn't look like it screwed up the toe out or nothing.
Jamie McMurray in the 26 car started back in 22nd spot, Dave, and now moving his way toward the top 10.
Yeah, Doc, it's been interesting. They maintained their position during that round of green flag pit stops, but the car has done something I didn't quite expect from it tonight. It started out just a little bit tight and then went to the loose side. That's somewhat opposite of what we expect from these Busch Series cars. They made a track bar and air pressure adjustment as we see a pass for the lead. Here goes Jeff Burton around Brian Vickers as Jamie McMurray tries to maintain his spot in the top 10.
Great call, Dave. It looked like Jeff Burton just went sailing by on the outside, and Vickers abruptly slowed. Do you think he was trying to go underneath the 7 car, or he had an issue?
Well, I think he was trying to split the 7 car, and they both got held up a little bit, but now Vickers went back to the bottom of the racetrack, and he's fast again. I mean, I expect he's going to catch Burton, but, man, you got to hand it to Burton. He's got that car flying tonight.
Watch the move now just a moment ago. The 7 car right in front of the leader, Vickers. Now here comes Burton on the high side. He never lifts.
He just running up there in that upper groove, and he didn't have to lift for these two guys kind of fighting for that bottom groove of the racetrack. And see, Brian Vickers, just a heads-up move. He just went ahead and checked up, let Jeff Burton take the lead, and he'll try to contest that a little bit later.
Jeff Burton takes the lead here at California Speedway. You heard the pit reporters talking earlier. He has some unfinished business here. He led 46 laps here back in the spring, only to have the car fade in the final 30 laps. Burton trying to get win number 3 in 2007 here tonight.
I think I'm okay, guys.
Back at California Speedway, hard crash in the corner of the 88 car. Brad Keselowski, heavy impact into the wall. Couple of cars involved. The 1 car of J.J. Yaley is involved. His Chevrolet has sustained some damage, but at over 185 miles an hour, 3 cars coming together. Eric McClure also sustaining damage in the 0 car. Bringing out caution for the 2nd time tonight. And the good news is Brad Keselowski has put the window net down, and the safety crews are there to speak with him.
It's good to see Brad moving around in the car because this car got hard impact up in the air, up on top of the wall for a little while. These cars made, here we got
Allmendinger, the 42 car of A.J. Allmendinger, the 4th car involved.
The last little shot we had, the 42 car of A.J. Allmendinger and the 88 car Brad Keselowski were together. Pretty close getting into the corner.
This all started way back in turn 4. These guys battling in the pack for position. The 1 is Yaley, the 88 Keselowski, the 42 of Allmendinger.
88 car Keselowski, it's a big run off of turn 4. It's a big drag race down into turn 1. 3 wide, 4 wide, and that's not what you want to do. And he gets tagged in the right rear quarter panel. Allmendinger does, and Keselowski's like, where did this come from? I didn't even see that one coming. That was just one freak accident, and the one car got in the back of that, and that's what started the whole thing.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski really got blindsided. He didn't see this coming at all. You see this 42 car gets sideways, gets into the right rear quarter panel, and then this 88 car just slams the wall, went up in the air.
Guys, I don't know if I've seen a harder wreck before going into turn 1 of my life. Thing on fire. Again, the soft wall that NASCAR's got at most all these racetracks really held up, and it was a great thing. And we saw Brad get out of the car. That's great. And boys, I'll tell you what, that reminds me of some bad accidents we've seen in this sport in the past. But thank gosh the kid walked away. Terrible impact.
It gives you a sense of how fast these cars are going. Entering this corner right here, you see that car just hit the wall, get up in the air. These cars are going over 200 miles an hour getting into that corner.
Actually danced on the hood of the 42 cars, what kept it up in the air, and Keselowski's car was along that right rear tire, along the soft wall, that safer barrier, then came back down to rest there.
It's a scary crash, guys. I hate to say things like this, but it reminds me of a long time ago when Dale Sr. hit the wall at Daytona, a hard impact like that. And this is Dale Jr.'s car. But it looks like everybody's okay. Brad's shooken up pretty bad.
Brad Keselowski awake enough to be able to put the window net down and talk to the safety crews there. And we certainly are not going to speculate because they're being very ginger with his feet and legs, because you see how the front of the car with that kind of impact at, as you said, Andy, almost 200 miles per hour. They have a safety cage in there, but obviously his foot was there on the pedals underneath in the cockpit. Let's watch and listen here to what happened just a moment ago.
Guys, let me remind you again, that was the fastest part of the racetrack going into turn 1, close to 200 miles per hour, head on into the wall. And the kid gets out of the car and walks away.
23-year-old Brad Keselowski coming off his career best finish just a week ago at Bristol, Tennessee, when he drove from the middle of the pack all the way to get a 7th place finish. So excited, so high on the opportunity here that he had driving for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Jerry, I don't want to speculate, but he's definitely in pain. He can tell that something's hurting him. And he hit, it's hard to believe a man can walk away from impact like that. He looks like he's favored one of his legs. Maybe something, who knows.
When you got that kind of damage right there on that left front, that's right where the driver's legs and all that is, and you see the damage there. So could have just banged his legs against some of the pedals or the steering column. And they just want to make sure they take good care of him until they get him to the care.
Definitely, maybe a big bruise or something like that, because an impact like can definitely hurt your leg and not break your leg, Jock.
Kevin Moss, you saw a moment ago, had the red flag out. The cars have been stopped on the racetrack. We will get you an update as soon as we can on Brad Keselowski. Again, a violent impact here that has produced a caution for the 2nd time tonight. This coming out on lap 67 in turn 1. 42 car up underneath the 88 of Keselowski, comes down off the barrier and comes to rest. Back in just a moment. Back at California Speedway, where we are under a red flag condition after 69 of 150 laps. The Camping World 300, presented by RVs.com. We're continuing to pick up the cars that were involved in a grinding crash here on lap 67. There is the 88 car owned by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Brad Keselowski. There's the 42 of A.J. Allmendinger. He was involved, the 1 of J.J. Yaley, and the 0 of Eric McClure. Here's the incident. Now watch the speed here in the 88 car. Watch as they go into corner over 185 miles an hour.
I see over almost 190 miles an hour. Gets blindsided by this 42 car.
Car on its side, up on the wall, still going upon impact right at 100 miles an hour as it came across the hood of Allmendinger's Dodge. And now comes back down across the racetrack. Another look looking across turn 2.
You can see just how little impact it takes. These cars just barely touch to get in that corner, and then when they start losing control, then you have these kinds of things can happen at these kind of speeds.
Think hitting that wall when it was concrete, though. I mean, this soft wall has just been so good for these drivers and everybody. I mean, they tell us that it takes close to 40% of the impact out of a driver's body when he hits the wall, and for sure, Brad really tested that wall that time. That was an incredible impact. And the wall looks like it's still in pretty decent shape.
There is the safer barrier we're talking about, and it's probably one of the greatest innovations that come along in NASCAR. They had the fuel cell, they've had the fire suit, the window net, all the things, the seat belts, the 5-point harnesses, all the things that have been made as safety features in NASCAR racing that have been actually moved on to the passenger cars. But that safer barrier probably is the biggest innovation to come along in 2 decades.
It definitely is, Jerry. A lot of people talked about, what can you do to make these cars safer? And boy, the soft wall helped everything.
While we're under a red flag, let's see if we can visit with our in-race reporter, Jimmy Johnson, whose car number 48 currently sits 4th in line.
Jimmy Johnson, Rusty Wallace, ESPN, you got us? Jimmy Johnson, Rusty Wallace, ESPN, you got us? Guys, what could have happened right now is they might have turned the radio off to save the battery power on the radio. A lot of times, crew chiefs and drivers will talk if it's an extended red flag and say, look, Jimmy, turn the battery off on the radio. We don't want it to go dead. And really smart thing if he's done that right now, because we don't know how long this red flag's going to last at the moment.
Chad Walter, the crew chief there, talking to the crews, and that is a very good point. As a pit reporter for many years, I've heard him say, okay, we're going to turn the radios off, and when you're told to fire the engines to roll off, then you turn them back on to try to save the battery. Under red flag, cleanup continues here. The color scheme, by the way, on the 88 car was to honor the Seabees, the Navy's construction battalion. There is the 42 car. A.J. Allmendinger making his debut in the NASCAR Busch Series, and the 0 NASCAR Busch Series veteran Eric McClure, as well as the 1 J.J. Yaley. Back with more in just a moment. Great IndyCar coverage coming your way from Belle Isle in Detroit. They go back to the winding road course there in downtown Detroit. We are back here at California Speedway under a red flag, and now NASCAR is allowing the drivers to climb out of the cars because of the heat we have had here today. If you just joined our coverage, we had air temperatures approaching 105 degrees, track temperature over 140 at midday. It has cooled off, if you can call the mid-90s cool. These drivers have been inside these cars, and now they're allowing a crew member, 1 crew member per car, to go to bring water to service a driver. Brian Vickers, they're talking with Jeff Burton, having climbed out of the car. Denny Hamlin talking to one of his crew members.
And these cars are so hot inside, especially when they stop, turn the engine off, there's no airflow. They're like a sauna inside. And so NASCAR did the smart thing by letting these drivers get out of those real boiling hot cars and cool off a little bit, because here in California, it's still hot out, close to 90 degrees.
We are under the red flag because of the repairs that are taking place now to the safer barrier, the soft wall up there in the turn, where the impact involving 4 cars has produced the second caution flag of the night. Heavy impact on lap 67. Again, the 4 cars involved, the 0 of Eric McClure, the 1 of J.J. Yaley, the 42 of A.J. Allmendinger, and of course the 88, the most serious impact was taken by the 88 car, Brad Keselowski. This is the accident on lap 67. Coming down through the tri-oval area, entering turn 1. Watch the contact.
4 wide getting into turn 1. Guys, just a tough accident right there. Just amazing. The soft wall, we talked about it. How good the soft wall stood up. You saw him a little while ago, just welding on it just a little bit. Still had a great shape. And NASCAR's been through enough accidents right now with the soft wall. They know if the welds are broken at all, they're going to red flag it and fix it, and that's what they're doing right now. But the thing did just an incredible job holding up. Let's take a look at the speeds here getting into turn 1. 185. Close to 190, pushing 190 right before he starts getting out of the throttle. A lot of speed. He doesn't see the 42 car coming and gets him in the right rear quarter panel. And look how fast the car starts slowing down when it gets a wall.
Almost a 40-mile-an-hour drop right on the impact. These soft walls have really helped a lot as far as taking the energy out of these crashes, but they are a little fragile, so to speak. They have to go back and fix them when they hit them really hard. Sometimes it's made out of aluminum. It's like a tubing, and they got that styrofoam behind them. They can go back in there and just re-weld that stuff and replace some of that foam and make it just as good as new.
Brad Keselowski in the 88, making only his 19th start in the NASCAR Busch Series, his 6th of the year in the 88 car, the JR Motorsports, owned by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Information we are getting now from NASCAR is that Brad Keselowski is awake and alert, and he's going to be flown out for further evaluation, x-rays. But good news, Brad Keselowski, he was awake and alert in the car. We saw him put the window net down. The 42 car, A.J. Allmendinger, has been checked out and released at the infield care center. As a driver, Rusty, when you're standing by your car and you've just witnessed that kind of impact, how does it affect you?
Well, it really makes you think if the guy's okay, which it looks like he's, okay right now. Maybe a leg injury or something like you said, Jerry. We're not for sure yet, but you're thinking about the accident. But, after you know everybody's okay, you start thinking about your car. How's the car handling and what can I do to make it better? And right now they're allowing one of the crew members to come out and talk, and they're discussing what they're going to do. And you're really thinking now about how am I going to make my car better with 81 laps to go.
Drivers trying to get fresh air. Let's check in where Dave is caught up with the driver of the 0, Eric McClure.
Yeah, he is with us, Doc, right here, and if you guys can roll tape for him, he said he'd be interested in seeing it. Obviously, Eric, you were on the extreme outside heading into turn 1. From your vantage point, what happened there?
Well, the hefty Chevrolet's been off the pace all weekend. We were struggling mightily just to meet NASCAR speed requirements. We were trying to stay high so we could carry so much speed in the corner to meet that, but spotter said they were 3 wide behind us. Just tried to hold our line going in. Next thing I knew, I got clipped and turned around. So, hope Brad's okay. Hate that happened to those guys. I know they were racing for position, but not a good weekend for us. We'll try to come back next week.
Was it difficult, Eric, knowing they were coming and at such high speed and you were not running that well?
Well, it's always difficult. California's a really wide racetrack. We've been in this position several times this year, unfortunately, and just trying to run as hard as we can, make as many laps as we can, and just hold our line. Usually they can get around you, but not sure what happened. Just hate that it did.
All right, Eric McClure is okay. He walked away from the infield care center, guys. Mike?
And Dave, Pat Smith is the crew chief for Jeff Burton, the leader right now. But you have a pretty good race car, but now it all comes to a stop. How does this affect your momentum?
It just slows us down a little bit, makes everybody a little bit antsy. We'll come in, put on tires, and go back green and see what we can do with it, see where our balance is. I mean, we know where we're at with this set of tires, and I don't think expect the track to change a whole lot the rest of the evening. So we're zeroing in on it, and competition would be getting better also. So
this car looks pretty good, Jamie. They passed a pretty strong Brian Vickers car not too long ago. I expect they'll be there at the finish. Jamie?
And another driver I expect to be there at the finish is Greg Biffle, who's won here 3 times. I'm joined now by Eddie Pardue as crew chief, and we're watching the drivers. They're kind of taking a powwow out there. Some of them look like they're having a picnic out there, but I was going to ask you the same thing, Eddie. How does this change up your guys' momentum and your focus when all of a sudden the race comes to a halt and the drivers are just kind of not thinking about what's next right now?
Well, the 3 and 4 Fusion's pretty good, but that 10 and 29 are, man, they're pretty strong. So we're working on a game plan, working with our tires, trying to match them around and see if we can't have something for the end. Greg's pretty good here at California, so if we can keep him up front, maybe we'll have something for him.
Well, on the radio before that, he sounded like he was in good spirits. So when we get back underway, under green here, Greg Biffle will be 3rd. Shannon?
I'm here with Matt Gimbel, crew chief for the 12, Ryan Newman car. You guys qualified for this race 4th, running as high as 2nd. Now you've dropped to 7th. What is Ryan saying about the car right now?
He's just been loose on this on the set of tires we put on there. Started the race tight, and not quite sure why, but we're gonna make some adjustments here, and I think the car will be fine after that.
All right, Ryan Newman going for his first win here tonight. Dave.
Shannon standing by now with A.J. Allmendinger, who has walked away. Are you okay?
I'm fine. Pride hurt more than anything. Probably not as bad as the car, but that was disappointing. You know, we were running strong. I mean, the car was just getting better and better, and you know, we started 42nd and went up to about 15th, and I thought I was clear, and I guess I got clipped in the right rear, and I felt so bad for Brad because that was a big hit. I saw the flame and the wheels in my window, and you know, just sorry for this Chip Ganassi Memorex car. It was we were running the front. I was having a lot of fun, and you know, I wanted to finish all 150. I think if we got through that, we'd have been top 10. It'd have been good.
Getting laps, of course, was your big goal tonight. Talk about how difficult that is going down into turn 1. You're coming up on a much slower car on the outside, and hearing from your spotter. Was the response, or was the spotter talk to you clear?
Yeah, I mean, Tim Fiedel, he's an awesome spotter. He told me I was 3 wide, and I knew I was faster than both the guys, and I knew Brad was way on the inside, so I wanted to give him some room so I didn't take the right side air off and take us all out. And JJ was pinned behind Eric. I think he was down a cylinder. He was struggling a little bit, and you know, I thought he was just going to check up and let us go, but I thought he, you know, looked like he wanted to make it 4 wide in the corner. And you know, as soon as I got clipped in the right rear, I tried saving it, and I think we'd have been okay, and we would have probably spun out, might not hit anything, but when we clipped Brad, that brought the momentum back up the racetrack, and it was a nasty wreck. I think he's going to be okay. I hope so. You know, talked to him in the hospital right there. He didn't cuss at me, so I think we're all right.
All right, A.J. Allmendinger, he'll be in the Cup race tomorrow. Glad you're okay.
Brad Keselowski, the word is that he is awake and alert. He will be in that helicopter right there and airlifted out to a local hospital where they will do further evaluation. Gotta believe they'll do x-rays on the lower extremities. You saw him talking to the safety crews at the car, and they lifted him gingerly out of the car, put him in the ambulance, and he will head out by helicopter here momentarily. Still under red flag at California. Back in just a moment. Back at California Speedway, the 2-mile D-shaped oval about an hour east of Los Angeles, where we are under a red flag condition in the Camping World 300 after 69 of 150 laps. The work has been completed repairing the soft wall. The drivers have been asked to climb back in their cars. Crew members that have brought water and cool cloths to the drivers are asked to go back to pit road. NASCAR officials trying to get the drivers buckled in and said raise your hand when the driver is buckled and ready. You see them raising their hands one by one there down along each of the race cars. The incident that brought out the caution flag and eventually the red flag. Now watch the 88 into the right side of the roll cage of the 42 car of A.J. Allmendinger. Heavy contact on the left front there of down toward the foot area on the 88 car of Brad Keselowski. And there's a lot of safety protection built in and around the drivers. But this roll cage here, which is the safety compartment, took quite a beating with another race car on top of it at 200 miles an hour.
It sure did. It really held up good, Jerry. It looks like it's broken the A-post bar out of the car. But, you know, down by the foot protection area for Brad Keselowski, that looked like it held up pretty good. And Tim Brewer down in our Just Tech Center has got some more to tell us about. Tim?
This is going to be kind of a tricky shot, Rusty, but still yet coming in, we can get in an area down here to where the camera guy can get over here and show me down through the dash area the driver's feet. Now, the driver's going to manipulate the pedals like this, but as far as the bar here, that's structural protection for the driver, but still yet on an impact like that, his foot probably came over here real hard against the panel. Even though we have padding over here, there's no telling where his foot would have went. But there again, you know, to get his foot between a pedal or hit the pedal like this to the side, you know, that might have induced the foot injury. But Jerry, he knows a lot more than I do about that. But anyway, that's what we've got down here at the Chevy cutaway car.
Tim, that's a very good point, because years ago, before they even put those panels in there to protect the legs, we would see lower extremity fractures. We saw Bill Elliott have one at Talladega, and you could actually break a leg. But now those side panels keep your legs from moving from side to side, but there's very difficult way. It's very difficult to keep your feet still when the car is flying through the air like that and not bouncing off those pedals.
NASCAR's done a great job of just evolving these cars to contain more and more of the driver. And that foot area, they've worked on that, and they've got it. It's really good, but still, you have a wreck like that, no telling what can happen. I mean, you hit that ball really hard, and no matter how much safety protection you have, you can still get hurt.
For more information on driver protection, log on to ESPN.com, search word Auto Tech. Getting close to restarting here at California Speedway. After a red flag condition, drivers are buckled up. We'll come back and roll them off in just a moment.
Take a look at our ESPN race rundown, just shy of halfway. Almost got off to a rough start right on the green flag.
Yeah, Stephen Light had a tough time getting up to speed, couldn't get it into gear. He actually had to a couple of times on restarts, very slow up to speed.
Managed to not have a crash there. Then a caution at lap 2. Then we get the first lead change of the race, actually second lead change. Brian Vickers became the man.
He's absolutely been the class of the field tonight. He is really flying in that Toyota. He's going to be the man to beat.
That was lap 23. He and Jeff Burton have spent most of the time trading the lead back and forth. Then lap 67, a terrible crash in turn 1. 4 wide into the corner. Contact between A.J. Allmendinger and Brad Keselowski sends Keselowski flying into the wall. Allmendinger underneath him. Keselowski has been transported to a local hospital. He is reported by NASCAR to be awake and alert and will receive some further evaluation at the local hospital. We, of course, will keep you updated as soon as we get any further information. So the race red flagged for quite some time while the safer barrier was repaired. And this sets up a situation race drivers don't normally go through, but Brad here did every night of his basketball career, coming back to start the second half and getting your head back in the game. What's it like?
Oh, it's very tough, Alan, because what happens is your rhythm is broke. So these guys, when they restart this race, they're going to try to get back into that rhythm. And the guys up front, or who are coming to the front with momentum, which is huge in this sport, that could be spoiled when we restart. You don't know what's going to happen to your race car, how it's going to react, what the tire pressures are going to do. There's so many things that can go wrong. It's going to be interesting to see who's on their game.
So the red flag has been withdrawn. You see the field now rolling under the yellow flag, and we go back upstairs to Doc.
Thanks, guys. You know what? After halftime in a college football game, things can change drastically from what we saw in the first half. We're 6 laps away from halfway here, but now that they've set for a while in a red flag, how can things change here from what we're going to see in the final half of this event?
Well, one thing these guys have been able to sit there and talk about their cars in depth. When they have a caution flag or even a green flag pit stop, these guys just have just a few seconds to work on the car and to get their information to the driver and crew chief. Now, with this little break, they've had some time to talk about it and really kind of pick the car apart. So a lot of these guys might get their cars tuned back up here for the second half.
Well, right now the track has definitely cooled down a little bit. It's still hot outside, about 95 degrees here in California, but the track temperature is significantly cooler right now than it was when we started this race. So the way the cars are handling now, I expect the handling to stay pretty similar all the way through the end of the race right now. So whatever adjustments they're going to make, they need to make right now in this particular pit stop to maintain this track position. But big changes here in California. Boy, the sun and the heat was everything, Jerry.
And you saw the NASCAR officials pointing to the crews with their 2 index fingers down, indicating that pit road is going to be open, so you're going to be able to come on pit road and make those adjustments that Andy Petrie and Rusty Wallace were talking about here after the red flag. 70 laps of 150. We are 5 laps away from the halfway point. And again, if you just joined our coverage, a violent impact in turn 2 on lap 67. Eric McClure, Brad Keselowski, who's been airlifted to an area hospital, awake and alert for further evaluation. J.J. Yaley and A.J. Allmendinger, the 4 cars involved. That produced the red flag. That produced warranted having to repair the wall, the safer barrier, the soft wall over in turns 1 and 2. Jeff Burton is our leader, has led 9 laps. Behind him, Brian Vickers in second. He has led 37 laps.
Now it's time for these crews to start racing each other on pit road. This is where a lot of passes can be made right here as these guys come down in for this pit stop.
Here they come, 55 miles an hour, and they will try to make some of these adjustments they've had time to talk about. Dave?
Matt Kenseth's car needs to turn better. At first it was just air out of the front. Like Andy said, they had time to think about it. They'll also make a chassis adjustment to help the 17 turn through the corner better. Shannon.
Well, Dave, Ryan Newman's car has not tightened up as the track has cooled off. He was running in the top 5 pretty much the whole night, falling back to 7th. They're going to try to fix that with air pressure and a track bar. Jamie.
And Greg Biffle in his box with the Petco scheme here. Tonight, he's getting looser as the race goes on. They're going to take 1 round. They're actually going to put 1 round in on that left rear. 4 tires and fuel for Greg Biffle. Mike?
Jeff Burton loose on entry, tight on exit. They go up a ½ pound on air pressure on both rear tires. 4 tire change in fuel for Burton.
The scramble off of pit road gets very crowded at the exit. Ryan Newman up 6 spots, but guys, those guys rolled the dice a little bit and changed only 2 tires.
Yeah, we saw him just take 2 tires. That's going to be good for track position. It may hurt him a little bit on this restart, but at least they got that clean air back out front. Brian Vickers here, they lost 4 spots on pit road.
Brian Vickers, who had led early on, who's led the most laps tonight, twice for 37 laps. Denny Hamlin, who was our pole sitter, trying to get him on and off the racetrack. Here's a scramble. They're excited about the effort they put in. We'll come back with the green flag in California in just a moment. Back at California Speedway, beautiful aerial coverage from high above this gorgeous facility, courtesy of our good friends at Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR, helping drivers get to the finish line for the past 25 years. NASCAR Nextel Cup coverage coming your way at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Presented by Principal Financial Group. Front row tomorrow, Kurt Busch and Jimmy Johnson. The current leader here tonight, Ryan Newman, will start 4th alongside Casey Kane. Live flag-to-flag coverage coming your way at 7 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow night. Our lucky dog here, the 7 car. That's the Geico Chevy of Mike Wallace, carrying one of our onboard cameras. He is the lucky dog. He gets the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass because he is the first car a lap down, and he gets to come all the way around the pace car, all the way around the racetrack. That's going to be a great feeling. Though you're suddenly just going to get a lap back.
That is a great feeling. He struggled a little bit with his car. He's got his car handling better now, and now he's got the lucky dog, and that is one good feel when you get that, Jerry. You feel like you're back in the game, and you're just humiliated when you're lapped down and you feel like you're out of the hunt, but now he's back in.
Getting set for the restart here at California Speedway. Lap 73, 2 laps away from the halfway point. Ryan Newman, by virtue of a 2-tire change. They rolled the dice. Matt Gimbel and the Penske crew put him up front with 2 tires. He will come down and lead him to the green flag with Denny Hamlin and the 29 of Jeff Burton chomping at the bit.
Well, right now, we're going to take a look how those 2 tires and Ryan Newman's going to do. Denny Hamlin sitting there with 4 sticker tires, and this overhaul of Newman into the rear bumper a little bit gets him loose. Man, I tell you what, in my past experiences, 4 tires feel a lot better than 2 tires, Andy.
Yeah, they do. And Ryan Newman, though, has been one of those guys that can make the most out of track position. But right here, it looks like tires are definitely going to overpower.
Jeff Burton goes sailing all the way to the bottom of the racetrack. 10 car up very high. That was Brian Vickers in the Toyota. It's been so stout early on. Vickers back behind Jimmy Johnson trying to make a move, but Jeff Burton went to the bottom of the racetrack and then back up top to take the lead away.
You guys, back to the 12th car, Ryan Newman, a lot of times when you start off with just fresh right side tires and those left side tires are hot and got a lot of tire buildup on them, the cars don't handle too well for the first 3 or 4 laps. And right now it looks like Ryan's car is starting to settle in a little bit and driving better. Take a look at the 10 car, Brian Vickers. That car has been strong throughout the night. He's working the bottom of the track. Well, we all know he's got a car that can work the top of the track also and run fast up there too.
He lost 4 positions on that pit stop. You saw the pit exit where they lost 4 positions. Now he's trying to make them up on the racetrack.
You know what? The Braun Racing team's a great team, but they just probably don't have the really fast pit crews like these Cup teams have got. All these Cup guys really beat that team out, but he's got a fast car, can probably make it up. And that's one thing. When you have a Busch regular team, Jerry, competing against these Cup guys, it's really tough to do that because of the quality of people these Cup guys have got changing these tires now.
Hard to beat these guys on pit road, and now the 20 car trying to sneak inside of the 12 of Ryan Newman. Again, Newman only has the 2 fresh tires. The 20 got 4 fresh Goodyears. More on Ryan Newman. Let's check in with Shannon.
Well, as Ryan Newman gets passed by the 20 of Denny Hamlin, Matt Gimbel told me that this team has really been working on their aero package. He told me that this car right here is the best one that they have, he feels, in the fleet of cars that are back at that Penske race shop. Wanted to get Ryan Newman out there, get him some fresh air. Newman told him before the race, just get me out there. So that's what they did by taking those 2 tires, guys.
Well, I think it's a good move right now. We've got about 73 laps to go, so we're just a little bit past halfway in this race right now. So if you're going to make a change, they got one more stop to do yet. They might as well find out what these 2 tires are going to do when they need to use them, whether it's going to work or not.
We're riding with a real fast car right here, Jimmy Johnson. He's been coming on here right here this part of the race. Looks like he used that halftime brake right there to adjust on his car a little bit and get it better.
Take a look at 195 miles an hour into the corner. These cars, these restarts are really sailing, and that was going into turn 1. That's the fastest portion of the track here at California. Mikey, can you add to that?
Well, yeah, you know, I had a conversation with Chad Walter this afternoon, and he told me that Jimmy's still, believe it or not, adjusting to these Busch cars. After all, he has very little experience with them, and most of his experience is with the Nextel Cup team. And the biggest adjustment for him right now is really getting used to the downforce that he has with this Busch car and the horsepower difference. And Chad has had to coach him throughout the course of the weekend, telling him to maintain his RPMs and his momentum because it has been such a change.
And just what you said is really key, the momentum. That's what these guys, when the Cup guys get into Busch cars, they find out there's less horsepower, and they just got to keep them wound up to keep that momentum going so they can stay up with them.
It does take a different driving style for sure for these Busch cars than it does those Cup cars, with all the power and not having the downforce that these Busch cars have.
Reigning NASCAR Busch Series champion Kevin Harvick is actually driving one of his own cars. He has the 33 car and the 77 car this weekend. The 77 has Scott Wimmer in it for the first time this year. And here is Harvick back in the 33, and he is beginning to make his move now, as Harvick has gained 5 positions now since the restart.
Right now he's up in the 11th position, and I really like what Kevin's doing, driving his own car. I mean, him and Delane have spent a lot of money on this team, guys. And a lot of times they're swapping drivers a lot. Had Tony Stewart driving at one time, different people in this car.
Bobby Labonte.
I like it when Kevin gets in his car and drives it. But hey, he owns it. He's spending the money on it. He can evaluate it and tell his guys what he needs. So good move. And I tell you, that's a car. It's got a fast car, Kevin does.
Here comes the 10 car. Brian Vickers now moving past the 21 of Boyer. Got Biffle in the 16 right there. These guys are racing hard, but looks like the 10 car is starting to make up some of that ground they lost in the pits.
That 21 car's had so many drivers. I know. You used to seeing Kevin Harvick drive it, and now we just talked about
Scott Wimmer.
And Scott Wimmer. Now we just talked about Harvick in the 33. So, hey, we'll get used to these numbers pretty soon. I got them right in front of me.
Yeah, as soon as we get used to them, though, they'll change again.
They will.
That's something unique. Whoa, a little bit of a wiggle there by the 16 car. Something unique in the Busch Series. These guys have 4 or 5 different drivers in each of the cars. Now, we talked about the fact that the heat today has been almost oppressive. 105 miles an hour, 105 degrees outside, 140 degrees on the racetrack. What about the heat inside the race car? Let's listen to what Greg Biffle had to say.
Last week at Bristol, I checked the temperature down at the floor because my feet were on fire hot. You know, I'm just like, my feet feel like they're in the oven with the doors shut. And I checked the temperature with the infrared gun. It was 238 degrees. So it's, you know, for those people that think that it's hot inside, it is very hot inside.
So 238 degrees, and people, another change for the lead right here. You see Vickers going underneath Ryan Newman as he goes forward. But back to the temperature, 238 degrees. Newman taking another shot at him on the bottom, peeling around. But Vickers has got that big run on the top side of the track, and I think he's probably going to get Newman and get ahead of him with that momentum he's got right now and fresher tires than what Ryan's got at the moment.
As you watch this battle on the racetrack, let me go back to the temperature moment. I remember in the old days, before they had all the insulation that Andy, you guys started to put underneath the cars, that drivers would climb out of the car when the race was over and have huge blisters and 2nd and 3rd degree burns on their heels and feet that would take months to heal.
I remember at Nashville, Tennessee, one hot summer night, I was working on Darrell Waltrip's team, and he got out of that car, won the race, but he had a huge blister, and I think he's probably still got a scar from it today.
And my right foot is scarred from so many blisters before we finally started cooling these cars down. But, you know, Jerry, back to the temperature like you were just talking about, I tell fans it's about 180 degrees inside the car. They go, no way, you're crazy. We just heard Greg Biffle say 238 down by his feet. These cars are hot, folks, and these air-conditioned helmets help a little bit, but these cats are boiling inside these cars.
Don't tell me these guys in these race cars and the ones that go over the wall and service these cars aren't incredible athletes. They indeed are here to be able to withstand this kind of heat, this kind of stress for 2 and 3 and sometimes 4.5 hours on a Sunday in a Nextel Cup car. 84 laps of 150 are in the books. Jeff Burton was where he was back in the spring. He led just past the halfway point, but can he keep this car from fading and maybe pick up a win here tonight? This ESPN telecast of the NASCAR Busch Series is available in high definition on ESPN2 HD, presented by Vizio. NASCAR Busch competition continuing at California Speedway. Jeff Burton is our leader, has now led 3 times for a total of 24 laps here tonight.
The last time by Jeff Burton's car, one of the fastest cars in the field again, but now this lap by, Denny Hamlin matched Jeff Burton for his speed on the racetrack, so it's all about track position right now, and Jeff's got some good track position. Look how far back Denny is. You know, probably about 30 car lengths behind Burton right now. And the other one we talked a lot about was Brian Vickers, and he just bested the lap time of Jeff Burton also. So now these guys are kind of settled in, and Burton's been working the bottom side of the track, taking a short way around, guys.
Pace is a little bit faster than it was earlier. The track's cooled down some. Now we got this 10 car here, and Brian Vickers trying to run these guys down.
The 10 car, the crew a moment ago, and some of the spotters have noticed some issues, possibly some trash or something on the grill of his Toyota Camry.
Talking about the temperatures coming up on that 10 car. We see a little debris right on the center part of the nose above the word Camry. And Andy, how much does that affect the car? I mean, it looks like about 5 inches there. It's got the grill blocked off.
Yeah, it looks like it's got about 20% or more of the grill blocked, so I'm sure the temperature's gone up.
I think I may have some trash on my nose. Take a look at it. 240, 270. Temp on the trash. Watch your temp. Temp or just run so we don't. If it starts blowing water, we can run as long as it don't blow water. If you think you can catch Jimmy, I'll get with Stevie and let him know. You tell me how our tops look.
We heard him talk about the 240, 270. That 240 number is his water temperature. The 270 is the oil.
And there he did the perfect thing. A lot of times the aerodynamics under the car in front of you will force the air to blow that debris off the car. And we just heard Brian Vickers say, I'm going to get behind Jimmy and try to get the debris off, and he did that. He's got such a fast car. He drafted up on his bumper, and it blew the debris. Let's watch this one more time. He's getting closer to Jimmy Johnson. The air under Jimmy's car blows the debris off the car. And boy, that's a Mr. Feel-Good right there when you look at the temperature gauge.
That's exactly what we show with our draft tracks, is that dirty air. And when you get in that real turbulent air, that's what it raked the debris right off the grill of the car.
Are you saying we don't need draft tracks if we can put hot dog wrappers on the grill?
That's right. You can see it right there.
Well, you know, Andy's been telling us the whole time how that air's got a lot of dirty pockets in that column of air. It's real turbulent air. And you saw that turbulent air just shook that debris right off the nose of that Ken car, shot it right off.
For more on the grill, let's go down to our ESPN Dish Tech Center and Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Jerry. What we got here, folks, we got tape on the front of the grills to make the cars run fast, get a lot of downforce on them. But when you get little particles here, little particles there, and a big piece right in the center of it, that water temperature is going to go up amazingly. But still yet, like Rusty said, you stick the nose of this car right up behind another one, what's going to happen? All this stuff's going to fall off. You're going to kind of help yourself. A lot of times we cut the electric fan off behind the radiator. That helps a little bit. But still yet, just pulling the thing up behind the car, stopping airflow across the front of it, that helps our Chevrolet Colorway car tremendously.
Well, Tim, great explanation. Exactly right. And when you can take and turn that radiator fan off so it quits sucking air through it, 16 cars spinning. Oh, into the wall, left rear quarter panel.
We missed you, thank goodness. Another one coming at you. You're good now, Matt. We missed you.
Greg Biffle, a 3-time winner here, getting the car out of shape and has some damage with the left rear of the car, bringing out caution number 3 here today.
Close call with Kyle Busch in the 5 car. Just missing Greg Biffle.
I'm just going to take it to the garage and put it in the truck.
You can see the damage on the left rear. Greg's saying let's just put it on the truck instead of fixing it. These guys are not running for points here in the Busch Series.
Pretty good. The steering wheel's off a little bit.
Let's take a look at this replay. He's way high up on the racetrack, trying to pass Ryan Newman, gets up in that gray and just gets loose and spins the car. And Guys, it looked like he had that right rear tire all the way up in the dirty portion of the racetrack. I mean, no, he didn't mean to do that, but that's what it appeared would happen. That car just got out from underneath of him.
It looked like the groove just wasn't cleaned off all the way to the wall, so he got that right rear up in the sandy part. Right here, you see he just gets right up out of that groove. You see some of the sand start to fly out from under the car.
Absolutely right, Andy. You know, he gets in that dirty part of the track, the sandy part up there, and boy, when you see that stuff fly out from a right rear tire, you know there's no grip there, and he's going to lose it. And thank gosh nobody hit him, but he got the wall enough. And as you said earlier, he's not racing for the points. You know, he's frustrated now. Let's put the thing back away.
He's got to consider the big picture. He starts 10th tomorrow in the 500-mile NASCAR Nextel Cup event. He's still 15th in the points. He has an outside chance, albeit slim, of getting a shot to get in that chase to the championship. So he's got to look at the big picture and what's going to happen here tomorrow night. He's on pit road, and they'll go to work and changing tires, but pretty heavy damage.
And this is this Busch team. They want to keep racing. They're trying to fix the car and get back out there. They want to keep competing here tonight. If they can get it fixed, they'll get him back out there.
Yeah, they'll try to keep the points up in this number 16 car, but what you got to do is keep the attitude of the driver up. Because now Greg Biffle's like, man, I don't want to go back out and just ride around. I got 55 laps to go. But if you want me to take one for the team, I'll do it. He's saying, let's take it to the truck.
Pit stop should become the order of the day. 55 laps to go. Looks like you're probably a little outside the fuel window, but who knows? With a little some yellow flag laps, you might get a chance. Here they come. Burton, Hamlin, Jimmy Johnson at 55 miles an hour. Dave?
Matt Kenseth is going to come and give up 9th place on the track. Come down pit road. 4 tires for him. No grip was the report. Now, Drew Buckensurfer, his crew chief, believes this set of tires will actually remedy the situation with maybe just a slight air pressure adjustment, Shannon.
Well, Dave, Clint Boyer told his crew chief that he thinks he might have a tire going down. He feels a little bit of a vibration. They're going to put 4 tires. He's also very tight, so they're going to make some adjustments on that car as well. Jamie.
And guys, Kyle Busch making his way down. He's in his pit box now. He's saying his car is almost undrivable. He said he's loose in, tight center off, loose off. So they have all kinds of things to change. He said he has no throttle off the corner whatsoever. They made some adjustments and he's out. Mike?
And Jeff Burton just made another air pressure adjustment. Last time in, they went up a half a pound on both rear tires. This time, down half a pound on the right rear. Car's just a little bit loose. 4 tires and fuel.
Plus 7 spots off of pit road. Robbie Gordon driving a Dodge. He is driving the Armando Fitz Dodge. He got permission from Ford, which is what he normally drives for on Sundays in Cup, to be able to drive that Dodge, and he gained 7 positions. Now, a few laps ago, we showed you the 10 car of Brian Vickers getting rid of some trash on the grill as he pulled up behind the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson. Here's what happened. He pulled right up behind Jimmy Johnson and watched the air change and just blow that garbage off the front grill.
You can even see the turbulent air on the hood. You see the hood buffing it up and down, but it knocked that off there.
Let's take a look at this on our draft track. You see all the dirty air. We call it the turbulent air coming off of Jimmy Johnson's car. Now, Brian Vickers used that to his advantage. He drove up behind Jimmy Johnson, and look how radical that air gets, and that air just blew that debris right off the hood of his car.
It's just like a vacuum when you pull up behind another car like that. It's just like a vacuum, just pull that debris right off of there. It works like that too when you're using it to your advantage to try to draft up behind somebody and gain speed. You're using that vacuum.
And every good driver, he knows that technique. A lot of the crew chiefs are reminded drivers, pull up as close as you can. But folks, you just saw on draft track what the air looks like and how it really affects the nose of these cars. And we talked earlier in our broadcast how we can use this to our advantage. And you know, I'm going to give Brian Vickers an A+ for using it really good today, because getting that debris off that car, that 10 car, that put him back in the hunt. A couple more laps, Jerry, he might have been in the pits with that motor overheating.
77 car is the lucky dog tonight. That is Scott Wimmer driving for Kevin Harvick. Normally drives for Richard Childress, just making his first start in the 77 car. It's had 5 different drivers this year. Wimmer possibly has a lot of options for 2008 for driving in the Busch car, maybe in the Cup car, given that car ride tonight. And by the way, a moment ago, as you watch this pit stop, the 22 car of Robbie Gordon, we are being told now by the folks in the pits, did only change 2 tires. That's why he was able to gain so many positions on this pit stop.
Well, he's got a long way to go, because right now there's 53 to go, and I'm pretty confident now. Our pit window showed 48 to 52 laps on fuel, and I'm pretty confident these guys can probably make it.
Well, it's just probably right at the window for a lot of these guys. Probably just outside the window for some of them, but probably a few that can make it to the end if it goes green.
Word, by the way, on Brad Keselowski we're just getting. He is at the local hospital, awake, alert, stable, which is what we've been able to add to your information. Still undergoing x-rays. We'll update you as soon as we have any further information.
Okay, we'll see Jimmy Johnson duck down pit road. Probably going to get a splash of fuel, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Denny Hamlin comes to the green flag to take the restart. That was the 41 of Reed Sorensen. Colors look almost identical to the 48 of Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, it kind of scared me there. I saw him dive down on pit road and we're coming to the green.
Well, right now these folks got everything they need on their cars. 4 tires full of fuel. Saw the 21 car getting out of the groove up on top of the racetrack. Clint Bowyer got some debris on his tires or something. He just got too high, lost his momentum. Robbie Gordon in the 22 car. Whoa, right on the bottom underneath of him, one of those 2 right side tires. That's all Robbie's got for grip on his car. That's a pretty good gamble, pretty big gamble with 52 laps to go right now, Andy. But he's taking right side tires on his car. That's a long way to go.
Figured why not, though? You can get up there. Oh, we got 4 wide racing right here going in the corner.
Somebody better get out of the throttle.
Stephen Wallace, bottom of the track. David Gill in the 29. Marcus Ambrose, the birthday boy, in the 59. 30 is Stanton Barrett. Those guys 4 wide. Shows you how much room there really is to race at this racetrack.
Well, I'm glad my kid's the one that got out of the throttle first. I didn't want him to bulldoze in there. And take a look at Kevin Harvick now. He's got a great car to 33. Really handling well. Newman off the pace. Ryan Newman off the pace. Just fell off maybe a tire or something. Don't want to speculate too much on that, but look at Harvick. Got a great handling car now.
Everything on my part was fine. Clean shifts and everything.
Clean shifts, evidently an engine problem. That's the first thing the driver says. You know, I didn't miss any gears. Nothing went wrong.
Ryan Newman, who had made that gamble on 2 tires to get him out front here on the previous pit stop and led for a while, now slowing down pit road as he comes up. And the crew will go underneath the hood, take a look and see if Matt Gimbel and company, this Penske crew, can see what's wrong.
You know, Andy, Jeff, mostly when you hear an engine running.
Guys, if you don't see anything, we're going to the garage.
Now they're going to look under the hood and see if there's just anything that they can fix real quick, like a plug wire or anything else that may have happened, but probably something inside the motor.
Trying to figure out why he's on only 7 cylinders. Big group of cars, a 38 car of Leffler, who won up at Indianapolis, giving Toyota their first win early in the year. We mentioned that Greg Biffle was going to call it a night. He's now back in the garage area with Jamie Little.
Greg Biffle running top 6 all night, and you spun it around. It looked like you guys were going to attempt to go back out. What'd they tell you? What'd you break?
Well, the rear clip's bent pretty bad, and we don't. This place 2-mile racetrack, real aerodynamic dependent, and the rear quarter panels are smashed up pretty bad, you know, on this left rear quarter panel. So it's going to be hard to drive to stay out of the way and get enough. You know, there's a minimum speed out there, so. You know, this is a really good race car, and we don't feel like we're really going to keep minimum speed. I just wish I could have got a position on Ryan Newman. We're racing for the championship out there tonight, you know, and wouldn't give me any room to race, you know. And I tried to get beside him on the top, and I got in the throttle really fast to try and get position on him because he just wouldn't give me any room. But I should have stayed there when I had my nose beside him the other time, and I guess I wouldn't have ended up like this. But that's racing. We have fun, and racing the Busch Series, that's what it's all about.
All right, guys. Greg Biffle, 7th DNF of the season. Doc.
Start 10th tomorrow in the NASCAR Nextel Cup 500-miler here. 48 laps to go. The question is, can these guys make it on fuel? If they pitted with 54 to go, it's about probably 4 or 5 laps beyond what our experts up here figured their fuel mileage window would be. We'll see how many will gamble if we stay green. 102 laps in the books. Vickers, Kyle Busch, Jeff Burton, Jimmy Johnson, and Denny Hamlin trying to pick up wins 2 in a row after winning in Michigan 2 weeks ago. Welcome back to California Speedway. The 9 car just now spinning in the turn, bringing out caution for the 4th time tonight. Casey Kane, who won both Cup and Busch Series events here last fall. And, of course, won last week at Bristol, Tennessee, looping that Dodge around. Didn't seem to have any contact with the car, and he's now back underway.
Now, one's got to wonder, though, the damage.
Maybe just the wall. Actually, I don't think so, but he just spun probably all 4 tires.
Tires are flat. I didn't hit anything, but my tires are flat.
See that right front tire is flat.
And, you know, earlier he got in the wall a little bit of that right side, and you wonder if maybe he tore the car up a little bit and caused the handling to go away right there. Let's take a look at his replay. Let's see what it looks like, because it looks like Casey was just battling with a 22 car, Robbie Gordon, getting into turn 1. Casey took a real late entry, real high on the racetrack, and it really looks just what we saw with Greg Biffle. He got the right rear tire up in the gray and just lost the car, and that was an awful high line that Casey took. But you know, he's one of the drivers that does it a lot. He likes working the top side of the track, but this time it bit him.
Yeah, good save though. See him just sliding the car, just barely touching the wall right here, and he spins this thing around, doesn't hit anything.
From the onboard camera, he was battling door to door for lap after lap for 10th spot with a 22 car, Robbie Gordon. Now he's up high.
Coming inside. You're all right, you're all right.
Yeah, easy for him to say.
Now these leaders will come on the pit road and try to top off. Jimmy Johnson, there's Vickers there. There's Robbie Gordon, David Rudeman, Mike Wallace, Leffler. They all come down 55 miles an hour, and now they should be able to make it with 42 laps to go as they come down for what could be the final pit stop of the night.
Well, we saw a lot of roll the dice. Denny Hamlin stayed on the racetrack, so did Jeff Burton too. They think they can make it on fuel.
Well, these caution laps, they probably can make it. Mike?
Just before this pit stop, Ron Malik told me there's absolutely no way they can make it on fuel. That explains why they stopped. A splash of fuel in the 48 cars away. Jimmy very happy with that car.
These guys coming off pit road can make it to the end easily. These guys that stayed out are going to roll the dice just a little bit.
Watch the fake here coming out of turn 4 at the pit entrance. You got to be real careful how much you fake, because they have something called a commitment cone. You can't pass it. And Hamlin comes back up on the racetrack right in front of the 29 of Jeff Burton. Now looking back from Jimmy Johnson's onboard camera.
That's a pretty good fake right there, but you know, I really wonder with the caution flag coming out. I mean, these drivers know there's going to be 3 or 4 laps of caution. Man, Andy, I would have stayed out on the racetrack. I think they'd have had enough fuel to make it, and evidently Denny Hamlin and Jeff Burton think the same thing.
If the numbers say you can't make it, you can't make it. Now, those guys just couldn't. Their numbers show they couldn't make it, so they've made their pit stop. Now they know they can. They'll just have to race hard for it.
Yeah, but even though they got those caution flags, maybe they just weren't willing to gamble, I guess.
You see that commitment? That's a cone. They call it a commitment cone. Last week, Kyle Busch was at Bristol trying to get on pit road, and looked like he was going to go down pit road and decided at the last second not to. And the rule is if you go inside of that cone, you have to come down pit road. If you go the outside of it, you can stay out. And he did miss the cone. NASCAR said that he actually went inside that cone, and they penalized him. But as looking at the replay, it looked like Kyle Busch was in the right there, and NASCAR made a mistake.
NASCAR admitted they made a mistake till they talked to the team when the race was over. And the good news for Kyle Busch was he went all the way back to about 29th spot and drove all the way back to finish 4th at Bristol when the night was over.
Yeah, but look where this commitment cone is, Jerry. It's nothing like Bristol where they can be on asphalt. If they try to turn back on the racetrack, they're going to be up on the grass. Look at this thing. So, I mean, it's if they tried to dart back up right through the grass, and no driver would do that. And every racetrack is different where they have this, and they have to put it in different locations because of the design of the racetrack. So everyone's different. Jamie, what's going on down there?
Well, we caught up with Ryan Newman. You know what they always say, cautions breed caution. So, Ryan, this incident happened a couple laps ago. What happened to your car?
We just dropped a cylinder, and it was best to get out of everybody else's way. You can't really run around this place at 7 cylinders. You can at Bristol, but not here. And it's a good run going for the Kodak Dodge. We made some adjustments. We got off sequence, got back on sequence, and that was our chance to show what we had, and it just never happened.
How about battling with Greg Biffle? He said you're racing him like you guys are racing for the championship.
We were running hard. I left him a lane on the outside, and I think he just either got dirty air or lost it. But I left him a lane on the outside of it. He can't be too mad.
All right, Ryan Newman's out of the race, guys, but still smiling.
Ryan Newman led some laps here after that pit stop for 2 tires. Able to get out front. Now the engine problem puts him out for the night. Denny Hamlin, the leader. Jeff Burton, Kyle Busch. After that penalty for too fast exiting, he now finds himself all the way back up in 3rd spot. Matt Kenseth and Kevin Harvick driving his own car is 5th as they head down for the restart. Jeff Burton, who was able to sail by on one of the previous restarts when he got the momentum up high and make a pass on Hamlin. Now Hamlin will pull up and take the spot away.
And now the drama begins. Can the 20 car, the 29, the 5, and the 17 make it on fuel? We know the 48 can. Mike?
Well, the question is for the 29 car. I spoke with Ronald Jones, the engine guy for that car, just before that round of pit stops. He calculated they were 3 laps short on fuel. The plan was to come down pit road, but a miscommunication on the radio resulted in something different.
And you're going to have to holler quicker. You're going to have to holler quicker.
I can hear it static. When I'm on the back straightaway, I can't hear you. With the radios we've got in the Busch cars just suck. They sucked for 3 years. I cannot hear him.
And they've been coaching Jeff Burton on the radio, trying to get him to save fuel, but they still think they may be 3 laps short. They're looking for some caution laps, guys.
Yeah, right now, if I was him, I'd be gambling. It's 39 laps to go. We've had some caution laps. You just got to hope that some more are going to happen and give you enough time to make it on field. But right now, to try to come down pit road would be a tough one. We've got 18 cars on the lead lap right now. Jimmy Johnson a little while ago came down pit road for fuel, and he's back up to 8th position right now. So he's one guy knew he couldn't make it, didn't feel comfortable at all, and he had to do it.
We are being told the 9 car of Casey Kane is being posted by NASCAR. A little bit of a wiggle in the 48. The 9 car of Casey Kane being posted by NASCAR for pitting too soon and not starting at the end of the longest line. That's the penalty for coming down pit road, I guess, and pitting when the pits are closed. But he's the car that had spun and had the flat spotted tires.
Look, this wasn't Casey's night tonight. He's had his Busch car program has been really good. Everham's program looks like it's turning around a lot, but it's took a turn for the worse tonight. So that momentum they've had and that rhythm they had going on with the change and the buyout with Gillette, looks like it's not working at the moment right now.
Denny Hamlin is the leader. Jeff Burton is second. Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, he's coming. He's a 4-time winner here. Kevin Harvick, Boyer, and in the 7th position is Carl Edwards, who is the NASCAR Busch Series points leader. There's the 60 car. He has not had a top 10 finish in the last 4 races. We talk about it being a tale of 2 seasons for the 60 car. And he won 4 times, Andy, in the first 15 races, but hasn't won since the first week of June.
And he started this race off without, really a very good car, and they've worked on it. Now here he is up in the top 10 solidly, racing Jimmy Johnson. Now Jimmy's got a little better car and some fresher tires, I think, than Carl does, but he's done a great job of getting his car up in the top 10.
Challenge for the lead up front. Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton trying to get on the inside of the 20 of Kevin Hamlin. Denny Hamlin.
And evidently Jeff's not going to try to save any fuel. He's just going to gamble. And look how low he's running. He's just dead on the bottom of the track. And Denny Hamlin had that right rear tire up in the gray where you saw Casey Kane and Greg Biffle lose it before and crash. So, he's flirting with disaster way up on top of the track like that.
35 laps to go to settle it here at California Speedway. Denny Hamlin all the way up on the outside. Jeff Burton, the new leader, back in just a moment.
Okay.
Looking down on the California Speedway from high above, the Goodyear blimp providing our aerial coverage tonight. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for the past 25 years. Getting down to the final stages of this one, Jeff Burton is out in front. He's motored away from Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch, who have been putting on a pretty good fight for 2nd and 3rd positions in these last couple of moments. Nice rally by Kyle.
I'll tell you, this is the 2nd week in a row we've seen this from Kyle Busch, going all the way to the back of the field and marching his way back through the field. He's all the way up to 3rd position here. Last week he did it. He got all the way back to 4th. It's unbelievable what he does when he gets a little bit of a burr in his saddle.
Kyle made a green flag pit stop at lap 45, got tagged for speeding exiting pit road, had to come back in under the green at lap 46, dropped to 16th, and has rallied his way up into contention. Speaking of contenders, Brian Vickers had been up front for much of this race. Now we find him drifting back to the tail end of the top 10. He's racing here for 8th and 9th with Carl Edwards. Vickers in the 10, Edwards in the 60.
Brian's speeds have fell off a little bit in his lap times. Early in the race, he was probably a 1/10 to 2/10 quicker than everyone in the race field, but he slowed down a little bit. I don't know if it's tires, I don't know what it is, but he's struggling getting that car back up to speed. He was the class of the field early.
Kevin Harvick in the 33, running just ahead of these two. Harvick in 7th spot. Had been struggling a little bit earlier outside the top 10. Made some adjustments, got his car into the top 10. But right there, that's about as far forward as they've gotten.
Well, it's been a good run for KHI race cars. I mean, normally Kevin's been in a lot of Richard Childress race cars, and he runs up front and wins. Hasn't had a lot of success, even though Bobby Labonte has a win in Kevin Harvick Incorporated cars. So this is a good run for this race team as they build on things for the future.
Harvick saying he wants to get these cars that he owns running as competitively and contending to win as regularly as the Childress cars that he drives. Vickers with a move on Harvick here. That'll be for 7th spot. Look at that, right below the white line with 2 of those tires for Vickers.
It's really amazing. You know, you heard Rusty Wallace talking about those cars going down below that line and de-wedging that race car. And what happens a lot of times, you'll see a car shoot up the racetrack, but these guys are just so talented. They're driving those race cars all over the track.
And as we take it back upstairs, let's see, we're seeing Denny Hamlin up, dusted off the very top layer. Vickers with tires below the line. I guess there's a lot of room to race here at California, huh?
Lots of room here, guys, to race. We've seen them go 3 wide, 4 wide, and now they're just single file, but they're using the entire racetrack every single lap here in the final 30.
Well, Jerry, I just started to say, if anybody needs to get paid for cleaning the track up, dusting it from the bottom to the top, it's got to be Denny Hamlin. This guy's a 1 foot off the wall, and you got to wonder if he's going to slip one of these laps and nail that thing, because he is way up there. You know, I've been watching another driver in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. That's Dale Earnhardt Jr. He does the same thing, but, you know, sometimes it bites him, but most of the time he gets away with it. Dale's done a really good job, and Denny's doing the same thing, using the whole track up.
He's one of those drivers that if his car's not working at a certain place on the racetrack, he'll go searching and search around the racetrack till he finds where his car works.
From high above and our friends at Goodyear, you can see the 2 distinctly different lines entering the corner.
Now take a look at the 29 car under the white line, almost on the apron of the track, and Denny all the way up, almost rubbing the wall right there as he exits the corner and builds that big speed down the front straightaway. And right now he's a little too far back to get any drafting help from the 29 car of Jeff Burton, but if he was closer, probably could.
And one thing I'm seeing right here, Denny has moved that car way up high, and he's starting to run lap times that are just a little bit faster than Jeff Burton in the 29.
Well, let's take you up to speed and show you what's happening. Talk about what's happening with these lead drivers, starting out with our leader, Jeff Burton. Here's Mike Massaro.
Well, Doc, it certainly appears that Jeff Burton and the 29 team have thrown caution to the wind. They're going for this despite their calculations that say they're 3 laps short. They're out front right now. Pat Smith just coaching Jeff Burton along, telling him exactly where the 20 car and the 17 car are running so that he can compile his little mental notebook, perhaps for the finish. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin, this is another team questioning whether or not they can go to the distance. They've got 2 different calculations. Their pre-race calculation says they're 1 lap short. However, their race calculation says they're 1 lap to the good.
Mike,
but we may have trouble
on the racetrack, Mike.
Hold the brake. Hold the brake.
The 20 car of Denny Hamlin.
Tires, guys.
Second place car we talked about being way up on the racetrack up there where we saw Biffle have a problem and Casey Kane have an issue.
All right, guys. That's what we pay you for. You're doing a great job.
Can't blame a man for pushing the thing hard. He was pushing it all the way up against the wall. He was catching the leaders.
I just started to say, Andy, I really like what the crew chief did just then. He said, hey, that's what we pay you for. He went for it and just lost at that time. Let's take a look at this replay. There he's getting in the turn really high up on the track again. Okay, there it goes. He gets into debris. He gets into stuff that the 9 car Casey Kane did.
Same place that Greg Biffle spun the car, right there in that debris up against the wall.
And he just lost it this time. You know, we were just talking about that. He was really flirting with the top side of that track and was not giving himself any out. Not enough room if he does get loose to save it. Let's watch this one more time. Takes it right in his normal line. At Darlington, South Carolina, maybe that's what you want to do because that's the line you run, but not this high here at California. But
does a great job of not wrecking the car any worse. I mean, he does spin the car, but doesn't hit anything.
He's not out of this race right now, guys. I mean, we've got 24 laps to go, and this car is not tore up. He can put 4 tires on and go again, Garrett.
He did not lose a lap. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Roy. He did not lose a lap. The crew knows the car is not damaged. They're not going to quit on him. Denny Hamlin hustling the race car as best he could, right behind Jeff Burton running in 2nd spot, bringing out caution number 5 on the night.
He cleaned off just a little bit more of that racetrack up there against the wall, so they'll have a little more racetrack to work with.
How many of these guys will come on the pit road? Remember, there were 9 cars that stayed out, did not pit when they had a chance to come in on lap 106. The leader, 29, 570. These guys haven't pitted since lap 96. They were going to try to make it 54 laps, or will they? Will they fake it? The 5 car stays back out. Here comes Burton, Kenseth, and company on the pit road. Let's go to Dave.
Matt Kenseth said, if I try any harder, I'm going to wreck this race car. They were going to be content to just settle back in 4th position. But now that they can pit, they're going to make air pressure adjustments in the rear tires. Better grip, but a loose race car for Matt. Now perhaps he can win with these adjustments. That's the idea for pitting. Mike.
Conversation on the radio between Jeff Burton and Pat Smith. Jeff said he just did not know what to do, what to tell them to do. Felt like the race car was pretty good. It looks like a 4-tire change right now. No major adjustments to the race car as they swing around to the left side. Kind of a surprise they're taking 4 considering how important track position is, but that's where they went. 4 tires and fuel for Jeff Burton.
Guys, your thoughts on the call here for Burton and these guys going ahead to come down in the 17 coming into the pits?
They're going to have fresh tires. That's going to make a difference now because these other guys have quite a few laps on their tires. See, Casey Kane gains 13 spots in the pits. He probably just got some right side tires and popped out in front of these guys. But now, not only can they make it on fuel, but they've got a little better tires. So this is going to mix the race up front.
Kyle Busch did not pit. Neither did Clint Boyer in the 21 car. There is the 5 up front. Matt Kenseth lost 6 positions, Dave.
Yeah, and as you look at the replay now, Doc, the front was okay, but the left, they could not get the rear tire off on the left side. And so they waited. You remember Matt Kenseth running very well at Michigan a couple of weeks ago, and what cost them the race? Under green flag conditions, a bad pit stop, and they lost 4 seconds on the track. Matt Kenseth will have to restart this in the back of the field.
The NASCAR Busch Series at California is brought to you by Kingsford Charcoal, Slow Down and Grill. By freecreditreport.com. Stay on top of your credit score and credit report at freecreditreport.com. And by the U.S. Department of Transportation. We're going to have a shootout here in California after a red flag for 28 minutes due to a violent impact early in the race, lap 67. Involving 4 cars, and if you just joined our coverage, Brad Keselowski has been helicoptered out to a local hospital. He is awake and alert and stable, undergoing x-rays. Now the 20 car of Denny Hamlin riding high, wide, and handsome had his issues on the racetrack here a moment ago. Let's listen in.
I'm pushing it. It's going to be risky, Dave, but I want to win. Poor babe. We're fine on fuel. We're fine.
That was just before the spin, and here's what happened. He was going to push the car and push it, and he was just hustling it for all he was worth.
But you got to hand it to him. He pushed it, and he lost it, but he didn't crash it. He barely missed that wall, and now he's back in with 4 tires on this car. He's lost some track position, and it's going to be good. It's going to be cool to watch him. I just can't wait to watch him come through this field now.
Final laps, it'll be 20 to go here as Kyle Busch will lead him down. Pace car pulls away. Let's listen into the drivers and spotters as we go full throttle.
Green flag, green flag. Clear low. Clear low. 3 laps. Hands right on your outside. Inside. Go there. 9 outside, 3 wide. You're in the middle. Clear high. Clear low. Clear all around. 2 cars behind you. Bottom of 3. Looking inside here. 3 wide middle. 3 wide middle. Still outside. 3 clear, clear.
Scrambling all over the racetrack. 3 wide, nearly contact with Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car up high. McMurray in the 26 making a move down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Denny Hamlin just diced himself to the field, passing 4 or 5 cars, and he is flying. I mean, he took a real nervy move on the bottom of the racetrack, got behind Robbie Gordon, worked Robbie up the racetrack, and now the 29 car, Jeff Burton.
That is his team car, the 21 car of Clint Boyer, and trouble. Here's the 17 car involved. Vickers involved. And our points leader, Carl Edwards. Oh, heavy contact. Stephen Light head on with the 17 car.
All right. We're done.
Caution coming out for the 6th time tonight. At least a half a dozen cars involved, and now the 10 car Brian Vickers, who had led twice for 37 laps. There's our points leader, Carl Edwards.
Bang the hood down. We've got water pressure. Steering wheel's pretty straight. Let's work on it. Let's not go a lap down. Let's get back out there.
Well, if he could see what that car looks like, it's a little easier than, you know, not go a lap down. That thing is tore up. And take a look at the 17 car of Matt Kenseth. He is really tore up. And Stephen Light just nowhere to go. Got caught up in the accident. Just after so much smoke out there, guys, and to try to drive through all that smoke and make it, it's really a tough thing. And that's what's happened to Stephen Light. He's had a good year all year long, winning that race at Kentucky. Let's take a look at this replay, guys.
4 wide right here. So everybody just looking for some racing room, and Matt Kenseth just gets a bump from behind.
When Brian Vickers had a fast car throughout the night, he gets taken out in our points later.
There's nowhere for these guys to go, and then Stephen Light comes in there in the 90 car, makes contact with Matt Kenseth.
Boy, Andy, when you're behind there as a driver and you're seeing all that smoke and debris and stuff flying, I mean, you take a calculated guess. Should I go high? Should I go low? And sometimes, man, you just miss it. And right now, with so much debris, these guys can't see where they're going. And that happened. 4 wide.
That's Kelly Byers, the 47 car, as the 17 came across. That was the initial contact, and then the 17 collects the 60 and the 10.
The guys, it looked like Matt Kenseth really thought he was clear, and he just wasn't clear. And come across the hood of Kelly Byers, and they were swapping back and forth so fast, and he just didn't clear them.
Watch from Jamie McMurray's onboard camera here in the 26 cars.
Let's take a look at Kenseth. There he is. He comes over. See, just barely clips him, but just didn't have enough room, and that was a pretty nervy move. Dave, you got more?
Yeah, Rusty, he talked to his crew right after that, and he confessed, hey, my bad, Bob. And he was talking to Bob Jeffrey, his spotter, about that move. He said, I thought the 47, he implied that the 47 might have given a little bit more, but Matt took responsibility for that because he had not been cleared by his spotter.
Yeah, I mean, that's good that Matt did that, because it's clear that, you know, Kelly Byers didn't do anything wrong whatsoever. In fact, Matt had more speed going and just miscalculated. These guys were going for it. They were 4 wide. Pandemonium breaking loose on the back straightaway, and the big one happened. Looks like it took out about 4 cars here.
There's 20 laps to go. These guys are trying to get in position for a good finish.
Carl Edwards was just sailing by on the high side, just minding his own business, and suddenly with the contact, he ends up getting the 17 car in his left front fender. And of course, the 10 car right behind him ends up barreling into the back of this 60 car. So damage on the front and the rear, and that's what happened with the front end of Matt Kenseth's car. After the contact, there is the Toyota that was so strong here in the first 75 laps, leading some 37 circuits at California for Brian Vickers.
You know, this Owners Championship point fight, Jerry, is starting to get messed up again now. The 29's having a great day of Jeff Burton. And the 60 car of Carl Edwards, he's falling back. And these owners, Roush and Richard Childress, they're going for it. They want this title. And right now, Edwards is having some terrible luck. Just can't seem to get on track. And we haven't seen that all year long.
Carl Edwards, we talk about the tale of 2 seasons. He won 4 times in the first 15 events, but he has really struggled. Look at his last 4 finishes, 3 out of the top 25, and then trying to get a top 10 finish at Bristol, Tennessee. Now, the car he is driving here tonight was the car he ran at Kentucky when he thought he had a great run going until this happened late in the race.
It's him and Stephen Wallace were going for the lead, running first and second. They both collided. Chicago, take a look at this one. Having problems with this number 60 car, off the pace again.
Montreal suspension parts on the back of the car, track bar on the back of the machine, cost him a top 25 finish. Watkins Glen, the same thing. They had rear suspension broken there at Watkins Glen. At Michigan, up high, right in front of the 41 car. Just a bit of a nudge, and he spins the car around and just has not had any kind of luck here in the last half dozen or so events.
And you got to have luck on your side, and luck is everything in the world. We know he's a great driver, and he's doing a good job. He's lost some rhythm right now. And he's looking really good for the Drivers' Championship right now. But the Owners' Championship, which is a very, very important thing, he's not looking good right now there.
Jeff Burton running second right now with the best tires. Kyle Busch is the leader, and he hasn't been on pit road since lap 96. So looks like Jeff Burton sitting in the catbird seat here with 4 tires for a good finish here.
The 60 car of Carl Edwards came in with a 42-point lead in the owner's points for Roush Fenway over Richard Childress in the 29 car by virtue of the fact that this 29 car, after leading at Bristol, ended up being caught in an accident at Bristol and finished 40th. Well, tonight it's just the other way around.
Well, Scott Wimmer, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Scott Wimmer drove this 29 car a lot this year. Did a fantastic job for Richard Childress and really got it high up into the Owners' Championship points. But man, when you bolt Jeff Burton in this thing, it really takes off. And I think Jeff has been able to help Scott. And that's one of the reasons that Kevin Harvick had so much confidence in Scott Wimmer that he put him in his own car, the 77. So when I look at this 29, I think a lot about Scott Wimmer because he's done so well in it.
Burton has won twice in the 29 car as well, winning at Las Vegas and at Atlanta in back-to-back NASCAR Busch Series events. Jamie is caught up with our points leader.
Well, it's a rare sight. You see Carl Edwards back here in his car in the garage. Carl, what happened out there?
Just, we actually got this sharp Aquos fusion going pretty well, and I was having a good time. It looked like Matt got, that's all I saw was a big RB17, you know, and just glad, hopefully nobody got hurt there, and too bad for the guys. They've been doing a good job, and I'd love to get them some TVs today, but that's just racing. There's nothing I can do about it.
PK prides himself on 0 DNFs. You guys have technically not DNF this season. How important is it for you guys to get back out there and get some more laps, Carl?
Well, just take a look at how hard they're working. I mean, we don't want any DNFs. We have a lot of pride on this team, and you know, we really are shooting for that Owners' Championship right now, and this isn't a good night for us, but I got the best guys in the business, and they're doing, you know, working as hard as they can, and we'll see what happens.
All right, guys, they're working in the car, on the front of the car, and I have no doubt they're going to try to make their way back out there, limping or not.
A lot of pride in that team. Andy, you've been where these guys are working so hard. You know what it feels like to be down there and be under so much pressure to try to get this car back on the racetrack.
You just try to assess what you got, the damage, and try to cut off the things that don't matter, and try to get the car back out there. You want to make sure you don't have a problem with it once it goes back out there.
So right now, the battle right here, the 5 car and the 29 car, Jeff Burton. Jeff's got better tires on this car, should have better grip, should have a faster car. And, you know, I got to admit, guys, I was wrong. I really thought the right move, and I'm not wrong yet, Andy, but I really thought the right move was to stay out with the 5 car, you know, keep that track position. But I really didn't anticipate this many caution flags and the 29 having 4 tires and right on his bumper. So, hey, it's going to be a shootout. See what happens.
It is going to be a shootout, and you got the 21 car, Clint Boyer, back here. He hasn't been on pit road since lap 96. And then the 48 car, he was just on pit road. He's got better tires. I think we've got a big-time shootout coming up.
These guys have already had big-time shootouts this year. Guys, remember early in the year when we went to Las Vegas where everybody was going to roll the dice? It looked to be Kyle Busch's race until the final laps. Coming down for the checkered flag, there's contact. And Burton takes the win. Busch slams the wall. And a show of sportsmanship. Kyle Busch walks over and gives a handshake to Jeff Burton, knowing that Jeff Burton is about as clean a driver as it comes in NASCAR. Could we see a replay tonight? These two guys will battle fender to fender here in the final few laps. Jamie is caught up with Brian Vickers.
Well, you guys talked a lot about him tonight. One of the fastest cars out there, led 37 laps. Brian, what is it going to take to get one of these things finished?
That's a great question. It seems like something always seems to bite us. You know, tonight we had a really, really strong car, especially on long runs. We definitely weren't as good as some guys the first 10, 15, maybe 20 laps. But the second half of the run, we were a rocket ship. And you know, I mean, everybody did a good job. There was really nothing we could have done there. I think it was the right call to come in and get 4 tires. We were getting ready to smoke those guys that didn't get tires, and I don't know what happened, who wrecked who, or who got into who. I don't think it was intentional. I think it was just one of those accidents. But, you know, Fort McDowell coming on board this weekend was great, and Toyota, they got a great car here in the Busch Series, and I want to thank Braun for giving me the opportunity.
The resurgence of Toyota, you're going to be back in a Toyota tomorrow. What'd you learn tonight maybe that you could take tomorrow and perhaps get to victory lane for the first time?
Oh, I definitely learned some stuff, but see, it's not just you and I talking. There's a bunch of other people listening, so I can't tell you all those secrets. We definitely learned some things tonight that we're going to apply to the Cup race tomorrow and hopefully get that one in victory lane.
All right, guys, he remains optimistic, and we will see Brian Vickers back in the car here in the Busch Series a few more times.
Talk about learning things. Andy, we've talked, you and I, a lot on this broadcast about what these guys can learn driving a Busch car versus a Cup car, and I hear air pressures a lot.
Well, that's the biggest thing that's common between these cars. The cars are different. The Busch cars are shorter on wheelbase, and they got different air packages. But the one common denominator is the tire. The tires on these cars are the same as they'll run tomorrow. So things that they can learn about air pressure and the way the tires fall off and what 2 tires versus 4 tires will do, these guys can carry into the Cup race.
Well, the Busch car's got a 105-inch wheelbase compared to the Cup being 110, a bigger rear spoiler, a smaller motor. But like you said, one common thing is that tire. And Jerry, I really think that's what they're going to learn a lot on, is this tire tonight, and that's going to help them tomorrow.
Let's look back at some situations involving these same drivers. How about Chicagoland? Remember this fake out on the pit stop late in the race there? Looked like the 29 was going to come on the pit road. He and the 21, Harvick, go back on the racetrack. Busch ends up making the pit stop, and it ended up costing him a chance tonight here. The 29 car is going to come on, and it's Busch that comes back up and doesn't pit. So Kyle Busch has tires that have been on since lap 96. Jeff Burton has been in. His tires were put on lap 127. 31 laps difference in the tires between the 5 car and the 29 car here in this final 12-lap shootout.
And let's don't forget about that 20 car, Denny Hamlin. He hadn't given up yet. He's right there in the mix.
No, that's the guy you better keep your eye on now, because he's mad and he's hot and he's out to prove a point that he is from the back to the front, and he's been really fast. And we know he's not afraid to use the top of that racetrack.
And if you like what you saw tonight with NASCAR Busch Series racing on a very wide, very competitive California Speedway, you're going to like it even more tomorrow night, because we got 500 miles of NASCAR Nextel Cup action presented by Principal Financial, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Live flag-to-flag coverage. Kyle Busch, by the way, will start 5th tomorrow night, and brother Kurt Busch will lead him down to the green flag. Kurt Busch picking up his first pole of 2007 in the 2 car. 17 driver, that is Matt Kenseth, and the 90 of Stephen Light have both been checked out and released from the infield care center. Good news that drivers involved in that hard contact, almost head-on contact, in the most recent here caution flag coming out on lap 131.
Well, I love being the leader of the race, but I don't love being the leader of the race when I know I got a guy behind me with a lot fresher tires that's got me in his gun sights. So this is going to be a tough one on the restart for Kyle Busch, because he's probably thinking, we saw the replay a little while ago. They faked me out before. Now I'm faking it out, and I might lose again.
Okay, you're the leader of the race. How far up are you going to pull those gloves now and get started?
Maybe I'm going to pull them suckers way up. I'm going to get amped up. I'm going to get ready to go. There's Matt Kenseth and his wife, Katie, leaving the care center, going back to the motorhome right now, thinking, hey, my day's over. But, Matt never does get upset. He's got a good car for tomorrow's race here at California, and tonight's over.
A lot of experience behind Kyle Busch, the 29 of Burton, the 21 of Boyer. Then there's the reigning Cup Series champion, Jimmy Johnson. But I will tell you this, Kyle Busch has always been really good at this racetrack. He got his first Cup pole here at the age of 19 in February of 2005, and he still holds the record for the youngest winner in NASCAR Nextel Cup competition. Guess where it came? Right here in fall of that year at the age of 20 years and 4 months. So this track has been really good to Kyle Busch.
Well, Jerry, if I want anybody driving my car with 10 laps to go, I definitely put Kyle Busch in the car, because we know he's really good. He's fast, he's really nervy, and he's going to go for it. Here's the problem, Jeff Burton is too.
Yeah, there's some other fast guys back there too, Jimmy Johnson and Denny Hamlin. Don't forget about Clint Boyer in that 21. This is going to be a good shootout here.
And Kyle Busch, he likes to drive a loose car, doesn't he? And he might get really loose in this restart.
It's going to come down to a 10-lap sprint race at 190 miles an hour, California Speedway. Glad to have you with us here. NASCAR Busch competition. Kyle Busch in the 5 car. Jeff Burton in the 29 car, the 21. Clint Boyer, the 48 Cup Series champion. Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin all the way back to 5th spot after that spin.
That 35 and that 25 that are lapped down on the bottom, they're probably thinking, I need to get out of the way because these guys are going to be coming for us. I know that 20 cars, they're going to try to get to the front. And the lap cars, they don't want to be in the way right now with 11 laps to go because these guys are going for it.
Remember, the 29 and 21 are teammates, both owned by Richard Childress Racing. Here they come. Who's it going to be? Green flag, and Kyle Busch takes off. Scatter out 3 and 4 wide. This battle starting to shape up. Good run, by the way, for Marcus Ambrose, highest running of Busch Series regulars, not running in the Cup Series. By the way, an impressive rookie. He's back in 10th position. 21 car way up across the racetrack. That's Boyer. And Hamlin, here's Hamlin in the 20 car beneath him for position.
Now you can see Clint Bowyer use the top side of the racetrack trying to get a lot of momentum built up in his car. But Denny's not having no part of that. He's going to the bottom. And he's continuing his march to the front with 9 laps to go right now. And Kyle Busch still leading this thing.
Kyle Busch doing a great job in the 5 car with these tires that have a few more laps on them. Quite a few more laps than Jeff Burton and Jimmy Johnson.
I'm real surprised, Andy. I'd have thought the 29 car of Jeff Burton would have ate up Kyle Busch in that restart with those fresher tires. But it's not happening right now. But look how low that Jeff's been running on the racetrack, almost half the car underneath the white line in 1 and 2, and we generally don't see that a lot at this track, like we were talking earlier.
He's all yours. Go get him.
Gaggle of cars left side of your screen as they are scrambling for position. David Reagan is there. Wimmer in the 77 car, bottom of the racetrack. There's Marcus Ambrose in the 59, the impressive Australian rookie.
Ambrose is looking good, Jerry. He's up to 10th position, one of our highest running Busch regulars. Marcus doing a great job tonight, keeping that thing out of trouble. Look at this, Jeff Burton working the rear bumper, got him loose. You saw Kyle wiggle up the racetrack.
On the inside, Burton trying to pull even with him. Fresh tires. Do the fresh tires make that much of a difference? 7 laps to go, and Busch says, I'm going to hang on. He jumps back in the throttle. Shades of Las Vegas. It was the final lap at Vegas. We've still got 7 laps to go here in California.
And this is exactly what Jimmy Johnson wants to see. These guys are...
Take these slow up here. 29 right there.
These guys racing side by side is letting Jimmy Johnson catch up right now. They can't run fast running this close. And look at Jimmy sneaking into the picture right now. Kyle Busch tucks in behind, and now exactly what Jeff Burton wants. Clean air right now where he can get going.
Jeff Burton takes the lead now, but Jimmy Johnson in 3rd, and there's Denny Hamlin 3rd and 4th place. They line up single file to try to run these two down here. Now Kyle Busch looks to the inside of Burton to try to retake the lead.
That's just what Jimmy Johnson and this 20 car Denny Hamlin are looking for. Get these leaders racing each other, and Hamlin hadn't given up on that high line yet.
Kim Burton, Jeff Burton's wife there watching on besides Pat Smith, the crew chief for Jeff in the 29 car.
And I love watching Kim, man. She gets fired up. She really gets excited. She really drives that car along with Jeff. But right now, Jeff's got that clean air. He finally got away from the 5.
Go 4 car opening behind you.
You want to be the wife of a NASCAR driver? Look what she's going through, the emotion on her face, and you can see in her eyes as she watches her husband try to hang on at 190 miles an hour.
Guys, what you need to do is get Kyle Busch off your bumper. And he finally got the 5 off his bumper, and that's what's really let him turn loose. Now take a look at Denny Hamlin and the 48 of Jimmy Johnson dueling right now.
Hamlin had the pass, almost made Andy, then Johnson used the high line to go back by.
Yeah, it's one of the 20 car Denny Hamlin just not been able to make the bottom of the racetrack work for him. That's why he was using that high line earlier. Looks like he gets through the middle of the corner real well on the bottom, but he just can't get off the corner that way.
He always seems like he gets his car really wound up at the top of the track, Andy, and gets that momentum. But Jimmy Johnson just took his line away. He just can't seem to get it. You see Denny committing to the bottom, which he hasn't done all night long. It's always been the top of the track.
You see, go through the middle of the corner. He makes up a little ground, but he needs that extra room there coming off the corner, and Jimmy Johnson's just sitting there in that groove. See Jeff Burton getting away from these guys now while they're racing each other. Jeff Burton's got a really good car here in the late stages.
Great rookie battle here. The 6th car, David Reagan, leads the Rookie of the Year, the bestest Rookie of the Year point standings by 25 points over the guy that's running to the outside of him, Marcus Ambrose.
You really got to give a hand to David Reagan and Marcus Ambrose. Look at Reed Sorensen getting up in there. They've been clean all night long, but now it's 3 wide down the corner. 3 laps to go.
They are battling for 10th, 11th, and 12th. Reagan in 10th, Sorensen 11th, and here comes Ambrose to take the 11th spot away. This battle continues for the 3rd position. The 20 car of Denny Hamlin now, as you said, Andy, uses the high side where he's run so well most of the night to make the pass.
Yeah, he's finally got his groove now, and he can just let the car go where he wants it to go. Just doesn't have quite enough time to run down Jeff Burton up there leading the race.
But Andy, looks like he's got enough confidence in his car right now to use that top side again and go after Kyle Busch to at least bring this thing home into 2nd place.
The same thing here. He just uses that bottom of the race. Gets through the middle of the corner real well on the bottom, but just can't make the pass. Now here, the 5 car's moving. Looks like he's going to try to break the draft moving down to the low side.
Trying to break that column of air. You talked about the draft, Andy. He was trying to kill that straightaway speed that the 20 car Denny Hamlin's getting on him. And it looks like right now, if anything is going to happen, Denny's going to have to commit to the top of the track again where he's been so strong if he's going to get around Kyle Busch.
I don't believe Kyle's going to give him that top lane.
2nd, 3rd, and 4th entering turn 1. The leader who has taken the white flag, Jeff Burton. There he is sailing up the back straightaway. This is Burton's 8th start at California Speedway. He has never won here, finished 2nd twice. He pulls away now by some 4 seconds over this battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Here comes Jeff Burton out of turn 4, and he will pick up his 3rd win of 2007, his 25th career NASCAR Busch Series victory for Jeff Burton. It's Busch, Hamlin, and Johnson finishing 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Way to go, Paul. They want to get you in victory lane as soon as possible. They're running out of TV time.
Clint Boyer finishing in 5th position. Casey Kane comes back from that spin and those flat tires to finish 6th. Kevin Harvick 7th. Jamie McMurray is 8th. Robbie Gordon, good run in the Dodge, finishing 9th, exactly where he finished.
Great job tonight, Pat. Perfect strategy. Really good job, man. You really got your stuff together. Appreciate it. Great job, guys. Great job.
Let's check in where Dave is caught up with the crew chief, Pat Smith.
And another Busch-Burton battle has ended up with Jeff Burton the victor. And what could have been this spring now becomes victory here at California, Pat.
Yeah, I really felt like we deserved one here. Or I don't know if we ever deserved one, but thought we had them covered at the first race here, and really felt bad after that one. Had this one marked on my calendar for a while, so very, very happy to come through here.
You heard some of the mutual admiration there between crew chief and driver. They did give one away earlier this year. Tonight, Jeff Burton is the winner.
And Jeff Burton had the fastest car, guys. I mean, he just didn't luck in this thing at all. He flat dominated the last part of this track. 0.2 of a second faster every lap at the end there.
Let's take a look at our Crown Royal crowning moment. It was the great effort and the great battle with just 6 laps to go here. Kyle Busch, the leader. Here comes the 29 car of Jeff Burton to make the pass on lap 144, all the way down on the inside of the racetrack, and the fresh tires for the 29 car paid off. Burton getting by. Kyle Busch couldn't quite hang on, and that propelled Jeff Burton to his 3rd win of the 2007 season, his 25th career victory, which breaks the tie for 4th all-time in NASCAR Busch wins with the veteran Tommy Houston.
Jeff's had to learn a lot with his tire pressures, everything he's learned tonight for tomorrow's big race here in California. Real smart driver, probably thought about all his changes he's made, and he's definitely going to use that to his advantage.
Jeff Burton leading 5 times. for 52 laps. He's got to be exhausted in his seat. He climbs out and jumps into the arms of the Childress crew. Let's go down to Mike.
And he's exhausted and he's drenched with Busch beer and Gatorade and a little bit of Coca-Cola as well. How big a win is that for you, considering how close you guys came in the spring?
It feels really good. I mean, these guys have been working so hard at Holiday and Chevrolet, and they built this new car just for this race, and it took everybody to get it done, and really appreciate everybody's effort. I mean, this team is so good, and just real proud to drive it.
You look at the statistics, the last two events here at the California Speedway have been swept by the Busch winner, then going on to win the Cup race. How much does this bode for you in terms of the race on Sunday afternoon, based upon what you learned tonight?
Well, we earn our keep tomorrow night, not tonight, for tomorrow. So tonight's awesome. Real proud of my guys. They did a great job, and we'll see. I mean, we'll put our best foot forward tomorrow, and hopefully we can do the same thing.
Doc, Jeff Burton in victory lane for the first time here in California Speedway.
We saw a sweep in the spring when Matt Kenseth did it last year. Casey Kane won both Busch and Cup. Could Jeff Burton be the guy that picks it up and wins Busch and Cup here in the same weekend? Coming up next, the Mac Tools U.S. Nationals at O'Reilly Raceway Park in Indianapolis. Once again, we congratulate our race winner, Jeff Burton, his third win in 2007 and his 25th win here in his career. Join me and our entire ESPN team tomorrow for NASCAR Nextel Cup racing, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson on the front row. This guy, Jeff Burton, will start back in 15. Once again, congratulations to Jeff Burton, and so long from California.